Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the one and only the Human Turret, one of the best ARs to play the game. Give it up for the world champion Sam LaRue, aka Octane. We got some of the best analysis in the game for stacking in rank play like an absolute asshole. Give it up for the world champ Christopher Duarte, aka Parasite. We got the multi-world champ, multi-champion legend icon to the scene. Give it up for Patrick Price, aka Aches, even though he's not really showing his face right now. He's showing something else. We'll get there. And of course, we got the executive producer, Mr. Benji Nassim. Gentlemen, what's going on, folks? What's going on? Ben, let's start with you, because let me tell you something. You look great today, Ben. You look great.
Yeah, had some good streams today. Weather was a bit interesting here. It snowed, actually, after we got off the matches. So I walked around a bit in the snow, which was a good vibe. But other than that, just been hanging out and excited. I think you and I were worried earlier this week. We're like, I don't know if we're going to have to talk about it on Friday. We're looking at the matches. And
we're going to do Q&A with the fans today.
We're going to do Q&A, but like,
yeah,
I think this one might be fucking lit. We got Kason in the chat. Shout out fucking Kason.
Yep, shout out to Kason as well. Shout out to Kason. I see Kason tweeting about the Kai Cenat, there was a celebrity basketball game going on.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see a streamer in the All-Star game like that. I think streamers are going a long way. So shout out to Kai, shout out to Kason. Sam, how you doing, man? You doing all right?
Doing good. I streamed on three times today because we had a little intermission for the CDL games. But hey, we're back.
Yeah, you started on Twitch today, and then you had to end it, go to YouTube for the games, and then they ended in like 2 hours. So you're like, fuck it, let's go back to Twitch, play some more rain play. Yeah, we're back and forth these days, Sam. We're all over the place. Yeah. Chris, what's going on? Chris, how you doing? I know you've been grinding. You're what, top 3 now, right, Chris? You're frying.
Yeah, playing a lot of rank play. Don't really care about the rank. I just play a lot because I'm a degenerate and I like streaming. Okay. But just grinding. Yeah, keeping up with the times. But
I'm stacking.
Listen, I try to have fun. I don't care if it's super competitive, so I'll play with my friends. I don't care. I'm shameless.
Okay, Chris.
It'd be like that, Chris. It'd be like that.
Okay.
And then, of course, we got the one and only Patrick Price. Pat, I know you've been working hard over there with X Defiant and everything going on. How's work? How's everything going, Pat?
Everything's going good, Tom. Everything's going good. Damn, it's February already. That's crazy, but everything's
time
going
flies,
good.
Pat. Time be flying. All right, guys. I say we get right into it. I say we talk about the 2 matches today because, let's be honest, there's a lot to talk about and there's a lot to break down in this episode. We all know about the lawsuit and about the Optic thing.
Lawsuit? What happened?
Yeah, we'll get there, Sam. We'll get there. If you didn't hear, Sam, we'll get there for sure. I say both matches today were really, really quick matches, man. We only had 2 matches today, which I guess we'll start off with that. Do you guys like a 2-match day like this? What did you guys think about a 2-match day? What were your thoughts?
It's a terrible schedule.
I
don't know why we just had like a 2-week break into two matches.
6-month off season, 1 month break, another 2-week break.
I don't even know the reason.
The Super Bowl.
No, but what was the reason for 2 matches?
Oh, that I don't know. That was why we had a break. Yeah, that's why we had a 2-week break.
Oh, yeah.
They're just trying to spread them out. Like, I just think the problem is, like, it's just such a quick day. Like, today, like, if Carolina had closed out the last series, it would have been over by, like, 4:30 p.m. Like, it was actually wild. There's potential for, like, an hour and a half to play 2 matches. But, like, I don't get it. At this point, you might as well just reduce the matches down to 2 and have 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. I don't quite understand it. I don't think the league has communicated anything as to the decision on this one.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. And I mean, the day flew by quick. It was a quick series. I mean, we'll start off with the first one. We had Miami Heretics going up against Toronto Ultra. And let's just take a look here at that score sheet, at that stat sheet, and see what's going on. Nearly the red carpet here for the Miami Heretics. Vickle saved them from that one. I'll be honest with you guys. Toronto bullied them today. Bad. It was bad. They bullied them. They squared up on Rio the first 2 maps, which I thought Toronto, I know, Sam, you were talking about how you felt Rio might have matched up with Miami because it's just how they play, like a play style thing.
I like the map for them.
Yeah, it was a good map for them. I know, and then in the interview, I know Envoy said that they wanted to get reps on it, but they came out and they just completely fried, especially Dylan Envoy in that first map. He just went absolutely insane. We'll start off with you, Ben. What did you think about the series? Definitely think Toronto they just outplayed them today. Bad. Miami looked like they couldn't keep up.
I thought map 1 was pretty close up until Miami misread or lost track of a guy in a P3, and it kind of spiraled from there. Map 2 was actually pretty close, went to round 10, but I thought Toronto was in control of the map from the start. And then the control was a little bit interesting, and then Toronto just kind of slammed them last round. So I thought Toronto controlled the series well. They got some good reps. They're the better team talent-wise. They're in cruise control. And for Miami, this is what we expect, man. I don't really expect them to get upsets against these top teams. They're just going to be kind of a mid-pack squad. You want to get to them from a day-to-day aspect. And to be honest, I didn't think Scrap was going to lose to his ex-teammate, bro. I think there was fucking zero chance of that happening.
Yeah, and also today we had a little debut here from Eric Boom as well, and clearly not the debut you want to see from the new player coming in. I know he was doing his thing in challengers, and they're taking a chance with their substitute. So, what do you think, Sam? We'll go over to you. Do you think it was just a slow start? Maybe got to get those nerves out a little bit, or what do you think?
I think it's just a kind of a shitty draw. They make a roster change right into defending champs, and then phase, I think, tomorrow or the day after. So, not the ideal start for Mr. Boom over there, but
let's ask Scrap because he's in the channel right now. Scrap, like, what was the thought process? The map's getting picked here, and like playing against your ex teammate. Was that like
what's going on?
Calculus today?
Are you faded?
No, bro, no.
You're not faded.
He's always faded.
I can hear him smiling through the fucking mic. Scrap, good match today. You obviously come out and you take care of business. Seemed like you guys won pretty comfortable. I know the maps got close, but for the most part, watching it seemed like you guys were dominating. Seemed like you guys are always staying ahead of the map and obviously outslaying them as well. What was the mindset going in? I mean, I'm sure coming off an event when you guys are just have extreme dopamine right now. What's going on?
Rio is just like kind of just a lit map. I feel like it's the first map this year that's kind of just like a total mix fest, but it kind of makes sense at the same time. Skrinzovich is going good in it.
I saw, so Scott, I'm actually glad you're here. I was going to say, so you used a sub today, which I thought it was interesting because you guys ran 3 subs, but they ran 2. They did a 2-and-2 setup.
Yeah, so I think some people have like a different way of running it. Some teams run 2-2, some 3-1.
I feel like if you're not running 3 on certain hills, especially, you're trolling. In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm the same.
What do you think, Chris? Go ahead, Chris. Chris, what did you think about the series?
I think I like the map picks out of Toronto, getting some good reps on the newer maps early in the season when they're playing some of the lower tier teams here. And also, it's good to see Scrap with a sub because he's got the talent to do so. So it's kind of like it's kind of like a scare tactic in a way as well. They're getting reps, but they're also like kind of instilling a little bit of fear in the other players in the league. It's like, wow, okay, so these guys are going to be good at this map too. Like now, like whenever they play against some of these other teams, it's going to cause a little bit of mind games. So I like the map picks.
And Scrap, you guys played Rio S&D as well. Some people have been saying they don't really like it. I mean, the bomb site's weird, right? Like the mid bomb site. Is that why people don't really like it?
I don't know. I don't think it plays that bad.
You don't mind it?
I feel like it's kind of. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like even map.
Well, Sam, weren't you saying you didn't really like it that much, or somebody
no,
was saying
it played out differently than I thought.
I mean, it's better. It's 10 times better than Terminal and probably 5 times better than Skid Row. So
those maps are fucking terrible.
And also, Scrap, Invasion needs to be removed like as fast as possible. That map shouldn't even be played.
Invasion Hardpoint.
No,
Hardpoint. It shouldn't even be played. It's unplayable.
No. That map's actually terrible.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's in a rotation.
There's no flow of the map anymore. There's no like. I was talking about this yesterday, but like.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know how like people won't really understand it, but there's just a flow of a map in COD where like a team has like dominance in a thing, and then a hill will happen on that map now where it just like kills everything. It feels like the map reset.
It's like when you say there's no flow, it's like the timings are all over the place. Like there's not like a consistency in terms of like how people like position themselves and where people are gonna be on like rotations, on like breaks.
It feels like you're playing AIDS, bro.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. It's also spawns, but also just like the placement of the hill. Like it's a whole courtyard. Like it's a whole courtyard, and everyone's fighting on each side. Like it's not fun.
And what I don't understand is like when they test these maps and they go through changing these maps. When they make these changes, do they not try them out for a couple of days and like monitor response?
I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but I don't really like, bro. These changes were made before the game was even out.
Before the game, these changes were made before the game was out.
Yeah, they like went and played the match and like tried to see what was the best. And so they were just gonna place. Obviously, if you don't play the map, like you're not really gonna know the best spot. So they just picked the certain spots. I don't even know if that one was picked, to be honest. And now like they switched to midway.
You're telling me that before the game was out, they changed the hills. So like you didn't know how spawns worked on any of the hills prior.
Exactly.
How the map would flow, and then they changed them. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Who is they in the situation?
The developers.
The developers.
Yeah, but who made the suggestions for the hill changes? Is that using the devs as well?
I think players.
They're saying the player suggests these hill.
Nah, I need a name for who picked the
No,
courtyard
no,
hill.
it was just like no. Honestly, that one I don't think they meant to put it there. Like I don't think the
or the
players picked that
Karachi
one.
P4 as well. I need a name.
I don't.
Okay,
I don't think the players picked that one, and they just. I'm pretty sure what I was told was the players picked. You know, like underneath American, the fountain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're supposed to be there.
that makes
Okay.
perfect sense.
Supposed to be there, but now it's in the middle of the courtyard.
I mean,
well-
the evasion's chalked. Got to get that out of the rotation.
That's
Scrap,
definitely next to go.
have you quick question? Because I was talking to Daniel Say, and talking to him, he was making it sound like there was a lot of pros that didn't want to even try Vista or put it in the game just yet for stage 2 because it was too early.
I never heard that. I've heard every pro that I hear is like, bro, we should be playing this map.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just he said that there was even pushback by some pros. So it sounds like there was
That could be. It could
no,
be. I don't know.
I
but
believe
from
him,
what
to be
I
honest
heard.
with the way he was telling me. It sounds like to me it just wasn't. It wasn't. Everybody wasn't 100% down. Like it was like.
But I feel like everybody doesn't have to be at the same time. Like if it's just more than
Yeah, I don't think it
people that aren't
matters.
down, then
Yeah,
put
I
that
don't
shit
think it
in.
matters.
If it's
I
one
actually-
team, fuck them, bro.
What would the map come in
There were
for?
times-
I don't
Invasion
know.
Hardpoint probably, right?
what's
I
the
would
other map?
say Invade.
Vista?
Well, it's that.
No,
It's
no.
Invasion or Subbase, bro.
No, Invasion. Invasion can't
it's
be played.
definitely Invasion.
Bro, I'm
That map
telling
is
you,
fucking
that map is
terrible.
not
It might be
competitive
Invasion now.
anymore. It's terrible.
And we also need that. We need like Terminal S&D out of here too.
I was gonna ask you, Scrap. I mean, this
Yeah.
isn't to put you or any pros on the spot, but like, from the consensus that I've seen, a lot of people don't like the changes of the hills on a lot of the maps. A lot of people would say that potentially the majority of the maps might have actually got worse.
100%. Karachi's ruined. Karachi's ruined.
Have you guys went back to like the developers? Because I know you guys have a chat and like said, yo, can we like revert or maybe like rethink some of these hills, et cetera, et cetera? Like, have you guys even like brought that up? I know you guys are kind of busy with like obviously trying to learn the new game, and changing it again would kind of be.
I mean,
frustrating,
personally, I'm not on that side. Like, I just kind of spun up and whatever, like, I'm playing, I play.
That's fair. That's fair.
Who am I
So-
scrimming today? Bad say less.
Exactly. I don't, like, I really couldn't tell you who I even scrim tomorrow.
I'm
just,
curious
like,
if
kind
any
of show up.
pros are maybe in the chat. Or
But I
could
would
answer
think,
that
like, there's no
question,
way we're
'cause
just playing this. Like, 'cause
Bro.
this is shit. This is dog shit. But, like,
it's so bad.
It's
like we're
bad.
going to get used to it. We're going to play it. But,
Well, you got to be one with the shit now. I mean, that's just
Exactly.
That's the life of a Call of Duty player. That's been the life of a COD player, especially the last few years. But yeah, hopefully we can get Vista added back into the rotation. Anybody got any questions for Scrap while we have him from the series
I do.
today? Go ahead, Ben.
So, going in this series, like I know you're playing one of your ex teammates. Was there a little bit extra motivation to square up against Fickle on the other side?
I don't know. Not really. Like, I've played Javi a couple times now. Last year. I don't know. I think this year it's another, like we were dominant last year against them. Even though they're better this year, I still feel like we're like pretty dominant against them. So
I feel like at this
You're
point,
down
almost-
against everybody, brother.
When did you,
I
when
mean,
did
yeah, I
you
don't
team
really
with
know.
Fickle?
What's your read on
Challengers.
the team? Because they've been
Oh,
they've been like pretty day to day. Do you think it's their play style is the reason they're day to day? Do you think there's other things going on? Do you think they're gonna like figure out and get to a more consistent level?
I don't really know. Like, I don't really know how like their like scrims are. I don't really like know, because I'm not gonna lie, we played them a couple days ago and they kind of railed us in a few maps.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Like, they railed us on Rio and a couple other maps. I don't know, but like how we like set up for matches, like I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really care what other teams do, as long as like we're doing ours and like just trying to get better as us. Like, we're just focused on ourselves during online matches. There's no point to just be. There's no point to like we're already like honestly like probably like qualified for champs. So like we're just honestly trying to get as best, strengthen our like map pool as wide as we can, and just get good at every single map, just so like there's no gaps, and just be an overall dominant team as a whole.
So Scrap,
So
you
funny.
tweeted
Go ahead.
GG's Miami 1-3-0. Welcome to the league, little man at Eric Boone. Why did you tweet that? And what were your thoughts on Eric Boone's performance today?
No, honestly, like I didn't even know that he had like a bad series. So like, but like, nah, this is my guy. Eric's my guy.
Oh, he's your guy?
I'm not gonna lie.
You know him. Oh, you know Eric.
Yeah, nah. I'm friends with all the Spanish. They know that too. I was just messing. I DM'd him after, bro. I said like, bro, you're chilling, man. Like,
Oh, man.
I honestly said like, Sam, you know how you say? I was like, bro, we do this to a lot of teams. So like, don't like take this to the
Bro,
heart. And I
everyone's
was
getting
just
shit
telling
on,
him
bro.
pretty
It's nothing
much.
personal.
Exactly. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, that's what I told him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's my guy. He is like,
Yeah, that's a
they're actually pretty
crazy
good. Like,
sentence.
their scrims against us, like, I don't know, I was pretty shocked. So.
Pat, you got any questions? That's Scrappy. We got a special guest today.
I don't have a question for Scrappy. I have a question for all of us though. What happened to making roster changes where you pick up somebody that's better than the guy you dropped. Are those days
they're
over?
playing Toronto, bro. They don't know.
Are you saying
Are
Juan
those
was better than
days
Eric?
over? I know, but I'm saying I'm tired of these like lateral moves. Like if you're gonna make a roster change, right? You need to be making moves, like picking up like good ass players that can come in and make an impact. I'm tired of just being like, oh, this guy got shit on. Let's just grab another guy who probably gonna do the exact same shit. Like,
but you don't know that for sure. Like they have a certain player
listen,
pool
bro,
that they can pick out of.
you can tell if someone's gonna be a star or
That's not
just
how it- that's not
another
how it
guy.
I mean, I
works,
definitely think
bro.
Eric Boom was playing well in challenges and doing his thing. I mean, he needs, and he also speaks Spanish, which I
Yeah,
think
but
is a big positive.
was there a better player in challengers? For
That
sure.
speaks Spanish?
Hypothetically,
Maybe.
he was in the what was he?
Yeah, but you got
He placed
Pat.
top
You gotta
30 at the
remember. Pat, you
Boston?
gotta remember. These guys like they can speak English, yes, but that's definitely not their first language at all.
Well,
Yeah.
Chris could speak Spanish. Like, there's people out there that are
I'm
bilingual.
not playing on a Spanish team. I would
It's
literally
just-
not know
I'm
what
not-
you're saying, bro.
Nah, it's way different.
It is. They call out the speed of
They
light.
can speak
bro.
English. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like they can't speak English, but like, like
But-
flow of
and- and
information's
the
a lot
thing-
easier
and the
to
thing is,
understand.
I don't-
fluidity of it, it's just easier to speak Spanish.
I don't even think Eric Boom's a bad player. He definitely played bad today.
I
though.
don't.
Bro,
I
they
don't
literally just
think he's
played by
bad.
far
That's
and
what
away
you
the
said.
best
It's like
team
you
in
want
the
him to
game,
pick up
bro.
a
I'm not judging this
superstar.
guy yet.
No, not superstar. I just want the best candidate to get the
But
spot.
who would that
Like,
be? Like Pat, I feel like at this point.
I mean,
isn't that-
at this point, we're saying that the
is that
only reason
kinda-
Eric Boom got picked up is because he speaks Spanish.
No,
He
no.
was already on the
He was
team,
Slay.
very
brother.
good though in challengers.
Yeah, but that's
And
what
he was
I'm
al- and he was very
saying.
good in
Like,
challengers.
But
Like,
Pat,
a
who-
lateral move.
Who would you pick
you
up,
don't-
Pat?
This
Who'd you
isn't
pick
moving the
up?
needle, is
Alright,
what
who
I'm
are you picking
saying.
up? What's up?
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
picking up?
saying. Like, I want to know who
Explain.
you want to
I
pick
mean,
up.
I'm
bro.
probably picking up Standy, bro. Free agent. That guy was
Bro,
frying on
how is
Vegas. He wanted
Standy
to
gonna
win.
dump
After they,
Yeah,
he got
hurry
dropped
up.
after they already made the change. You're trolling. Next, any other ones?
What does that have to do, bro? You can
It's
you
Danny's
can
in
pick
the
somebody
chat.
up and then be like, damn, we got a better option. Let's make that one happen. Like,
All right, bro. He's
I'm
just, Pat's
League,
just
league
spewing,
is
bro.
soft. I'm not spewing. League is soft.
No,
like
Eli's-
I'm tired of people that want to.
Eli's
There's just
hilarious.
too many teams that are just like content being average, bro.
Eric
You
was
got
literally at the top of the
you
food
got
chain in
Seth and
challengers.
Hex
He's
suing
best
the
option
league
at the time.
for $600 million, and then you got other teams that are just sitting here like, nah, it's okay. We'll just be average. It's all good. Like I don't understand it, man. Like I don't. People don't want to win anymore, and I'm tired of it. And it's making the league way more boring than it should be, in my honest opinion.
Listen, Eli,
I mean,
if you're
but,
in
like-
chat, man, you better start hitting the Duolingo because Pat wants you on Miami, dude.
Yeah.
That was
I
just
know,
one
I know.
example of a better player. Like there's plenty in challengers.
Eric
I-
is
I
literally
just
at the
think,
top of the challenger food chain in terms of the subs. Are you drunk, brother?
Bro, you gotta
I'm
speak like,
sick of this.
Bro, they gotta speak Spanish, bro. Like,
Yeah, they
speak
got-
Spanish.
Don't say
like,
we
it's
here,
easy.
Scrap. Don't say we. It's one person. Let's just call it out.
But again, we have to make a
I mean,
roster change based on whether a
Yeah, we
guy
got-
speaks Spanish.
I mean,
Like,
bro, the
yeah,
whole
well,
team's
that's
from
just-
Spain,
What
bro.
What? That's
The
what
whole
I'm saying.
team's
That's a
fucking Spanish,
problem,
Pat.
bro.
That's yapping. All right, anyways,
That's
let's
a
move on.
clear
Fuck
issue.
my-
Pat, do you have any thoughts on the series today? Toronto Ultra slammed Miami. Any thoughts
Hey, bro,
on
you're
it?
not gonna pick up LeBron James just because he doesn't
Bro,
speak
let's
Spanish?
Don't
Like,
say LeBron
No,
James.
like-
is
like
available,
what?
bro.
No, but I'm
If
saying
you find
like,
anybody on
we're-
LeBron's
we're
caliber in challenges,
discriminating
let
on
me
people
know.
who don't speak Spanish.
Pat's just gonna die on this hill no
Yeah.
matter how wrong
Think
you
about
are.
it. Think about it. Challenger players right now, there's only 11 teams that can join because one of them they can't join unless they're bilingual. It makes no fucking sense. And
Bro.
to your question, Tom, no, they suck. I've told you, I'm done with the Miami Heretics. They're garbage. They're,
sold your Vamos
They're
bucks?
I
finito.
I don't think they're garbage. They're
Finito.
just like
They're
the way
garbage.
the way they
They're
play
not garbage,
and the
bro.
way they score up, like, bro. Not every team in this league is going to be Toronto. Not every team in this league is going to be Atlanta Face. Not every team in the league is going to be Optic. There just is a situation.
Someone said they
where-
gotta be.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's clearly tiers of teams, and they're trying to be like in that fucking fit their sixth spot, and that's just where they're at, bro.
Yeah, Scrappy.
Getting-
Let's get back
getting
on
don't
track.
care
Let's
is
go back to
ridiculous,
special guest
but
Scrappy.
it's all
Scrappy,
good.
what's your
Yo.
next match? Who you playing?
Minnesota in front of a live
Ooh.
crowd on Sunday.
In front of a live
shit.
crowd.
Where,
Yeah.
like
You guys
LAN,
love
or
that
you just
shit.
doing
Nah, at our
the,
facility.
You
okay,
guys
yeah,
love
do the
that.
facility thing, yeah.
And I'm gonna be doped up.
Wait,
Doped up
wait,
for sure.
aren't the
Baseball version.
Heretics like 0-9 their last 9 maps?
0-9 is
2 wins on
crazy.
match and this one.
That is
They gotta
kind of
get-
crazy, Pat.
They got to get ones on the board. They got to play.
All right,
Guys are
Philly.
horrible,
Boston?
bro.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
they
I
might
got
be
6.
horrible.
I got 6-0'd in one day at Boston. So,
That's
Yeah,
true.
it
but
happens,
did
bro,
you
it
come back
happens.
on land and get 3-0 smoke showed?
Like
Or
online, you
online?
mean?
Sorry.
Uh,
online.
yeah, we actually lost and we made a change.
Damn.
and then won the next one.
Hey, made a change. There you go. And you picked up someone better than the guy you dropped, which
Go
is
ahead,
important.
Ben J. Nassim, you got the floor, Ben. Go ahead.
Miami got a tough draw because they came back from that getting slammed by Optic, getting slammed by Vegas, and they had to play Toronto and FaZe back to back, which is already a tough draw. But after that, they have Vegas, Thieves, and then New York, and we'll get Carolina. We'll get to those two teams, and then Rocker. Like the schedule after this for Miami opens up for them to get 3 or 4 wins and make it in the winners bracket. So just get past this weekend, see how you do, and then really turn up next weekend because that's where the points are at. I don't think, regardless of how they played last lane, you would have favored them in one of these matches.
If they play FaZe tomorrow,
if they had gone to the LAN last couple weeks ago, they'd gotten top 8. Would you have favored them against Toronto in FaZe? No, to begin with. So it was always an 0-2 start likely for them, and we'll see what they do tomorrow to maybe not get that.
Yep. Listen, anybody else got any other questions for Scrap?
I guess my only other question, Scrap, is map 3. You guys were looking to close it out, and then you chop bodies. Like, any thoughts?
The reason I shot his body.
Bodies. You did it. No one's cost you.
So already I call on a streak, horrible streak. Guy comes out of top broken, and I'm like, where'd this guy go? And I just like, I just hear something. I'm like, what the fuck is that sound? I look down, and this guy's fucking bumping his head 3 times on the AC, and I'm just like, oh, this is trolly. So I just like,
he started shooting his body. He lit him up.
Just like give him a couple extra bullets. Just
bro,
it's like,
why did you call it a streak in top 3 when you had him in a spawn trap at $100?
I wasn't gonna be able to call it in.
You costed me $100 fucking dollars
because I wanted the missile dope.
Well, that costed me. All you need to do was 3-0 him right there.
It costed us 2 rounds.
I know.
It costed us 2 rounds.
I know, bro. It got a little scary, but all right. Any other final thoughts on Miami, Toronto Ultra? I think we'll just
wait. I got one.
Of course, Pat. Of course. Floor is yours.
Scraps, this is for you. How did you let Lucky get 47 kills in the first 3 maps?
He costed.
I don't know. He's just like checking me out. He's in weird spots at weird times.
That's your question, Pat?
Bro, it was 46.5, Tom. I had less.
Yo, how did they know?
That's a federal question to ask Scrap, bro.
Yeah, how did they know? That's
Scrap got gunned once when he shouldn't have.
How do they know what the lines? Because they they just take the average from every map. They're probably just seeing where the line's settling every time.
46.5, and he got 47.
It always ends somewhere, bro, on the line for the most part.
Vegas knows. Listen, these books know how to ride the line.
Use code ZooMaa. PrizePicks.com.
Maximize their ability to make revenue off of y'all, bro. That they are in the business of making money. Just know that.
Yeah.
On the business of fair odds.
Hey, you know who else is in the business of making money? Activision Blizzard, Ben.
Yeah.
We'll get to that at the end of the show.
We'll definitely get there. We'll definitely fucking get there. Any other thoughts, guys? Any other thoughts?
Nope.
All righty, let's move on to the next series of the day. Keep in mind there was only 2 series.
Appreciate it.
I thought you out, Scrap?
Thanks,
You're leaving us, Scrap?
Yeah,
Thank you, Ernie.
Oh wait, Teej played?
We're going to talk about Carolina
This is a
New
reverse
York.
sweep troll. Like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, this was a tragic series.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about here. But Scrap, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Appreciate you.
Later,
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Next series of the day, we got the Carolina Royal Ravens going up against the New York Subliners. Carolina go up 2-0 in the series, and then they just absolutely throw it away. New York comes back. They win a close game in control, and then they just swap that momentum. They take the momentum from them, and they just roll them in the next 2 maps. I mean, you can see 150 points in a 4th map. They beat them 6-1 in the last map. It wasn't close. It almost seemed like Carolina just completely broke down. Is this the first? Has Carolina been reverse sweeped multiple times this year? They lost to Vegas, right, in a grueler.
Nah, because the majority of their matches after their first win, they didn't even win a map. So no.
I don't know about reverse sweep. I'm more so saying I think they just can't win a game 5.
Yeah, they can't win a game. I think that's what it is. They just can't clutch up in a game 5.
They should be 0-3 in game 5s. I don't know how the fuck they beat Vegas in that game.
They got
5,
lucky there.
This year. Yeah, they lost 1 to FaZe, lost 1 to Seattle.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Then this one, actually, they've lost 3 game 5s.
Holy shit. Take a look here at the stat sheet. Red carpet from the Carolina Ravens and a green carpet for the New York Subliners. New York definitely had him in the kills department in this series. That's for sure. Sam, we'll move on to you. What was your thoughts on the series?
Both these teams suck.
You think so, Sam? You don't like
Great
either
analysis, bro. Great analysis.
Both these teams suck, bro.
Yeah, I got a few clips. I got a few clips from this series for sure.
Damn, not everybody can be Atlanta, Toronto, and Optic.
Both these teams are absolutely horrible.
For different reasons.
For different reasons, but both of these teams are absolutely terrible.
But I think so New York we'll get to probably in a second. I think we should talk about Carolina first. I'm surprised how easy this team tilts. We've seen this a couple of times this year, and you would think with some of the veteran
You're
presence they have on their
surprised by
team-
that?
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not that surprised by it.
I
I'm
mean,
not that surprised by that at all.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, I will say we'll take a look. That map 4 in this series, there was kind of a weird spawn, and they kind of lost flow after that. But they should have closed that game 3. I thought New York was definitely trying not to win some of those rounds in the high-rise control, and they could have closed this one out 3-0. And they let New York take all the momentum. And we knew the minute that 5th map loaded, like the shit was over because Carolina was compromised. And then I don't know, Pat. I think we should talk more about New York.
Well, what's one team at a time, man? We're gonna go down the
Okay.
list. All right.
Oh, my bad. I'm skipping steps.
Chris, what were your thoughts on the Carolina Royal Ravens? I mean, Sam said they're both bad. I mean, we'll start with Carolina. What do you think is wrong with Carolina right now? What do you think is the main problem?
The main problem, they just can't win search. They obviously had a pretty good invasion, but like that garage.
They can't
gym
win
was promising.
non-invasion
Yeah,
search.
Yeah, they can't win non-invasion search. That's a good way to put it. And on top of that, their talent in terms of like in their respawn just doesn't like carry them hard enough, at least online, to like convincingly win some of these matches. I know New York is still heralded as a top 4 team, but like when they went down 2-0, I was actually about to tweet. I held it though because I was like, oh, maybe they reverse sweep. I was gonna tweet that meme where it's like, I think it's time to start a dialogue.
Wait, it was time to start a dialogue weeks ago.
Yeah, but you
we'll-
get the point. I was
We'll
like,
get to New York. We got to talk about New York, bro. We
maybe
definitely
they
got to talk
regain
about it.
because, I mean, dude, I'm not impressed, man. Like the main person I just kind of want to call out here, and I'm not saying, listen, people are might take this the wrong way, but I just don't think Hydra's as good as he is, as he was at Modern Warfare 2. Granted, this is not a subs game. I just don't think he has that high of an impact as he did in that game.
There were 2 moments during the series where Hydra was intentionally trying to lose his team the game and succeeded in map 1. Like, Paco is just not MVP level right now. New York trolled every veto possible during this series,
This is
leaving
where Sam
Invasion
was
S&D.
tweaking, by the way. Sam,
Leaving
this is
Invasion
exactly where you
S&D
tweaked.
in this series is inexcusable. I don't know
Why
if
does
it's
it feel
like
like
a
every sub
comfortability
on
thing.
the quote-unquote top
Bro.
4 teams is having an issue like this, where they're just scamming. Like
I actually want to rip my fucking hair
Yeah,
out.
so
watching
right
this.
here,
all just
Sam was
throw,
very,
bro.
very mad that Paco wasn't getting on hill here and was kind of like pushing out and like finessing here.
Where
I mean,
is he
a lot-
going?
A lot of time went by. I don't know. They had the whole team dead too. They were all spawning back server. So I was thinking just hop hill, teammates look over him, 30 seconds left, like soak this time. Like this is really good
They
time.
win because they have, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
and
need
then as this game goes on, they end up losing this game by 5 points. And I definitely think right there, definitely could have costed them. I'll rewind it yet again, but you can just see all the kills come in. This is the trade here from Paco. The rest of these guys are coming off spawn. And maybe he just tried to make a play. Maybe because his teammates weren't there yet, he was just trying to play kills. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes you can get down on point and just like finesse behind a box or something and just like stay down and work a nice head glitch. Like these boxes here, it's hard to kill somebody off these boxes. You could finesse the fuck out of those boxes.
especially because they have P2 spawns. Like, if you just play the standard and don't get flipped, like, you should win this game.
And it's a
'Cause you
close
kinda control
game. I
top
mean, it's
middle.
228 to 226. Like, any second matters here. Even if it's 5 seconds, 10 seconds, good time. Like, you need as much time as you can here. So just even soaking just a little time like that probably could have helped them. But yes,
I have a question.
Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah.
Who decided to change the font?
Yeah,
Bro,
I don't
there's a
know
lot-
what's
there's a lot of
going
shit
on
broken
over
here.
here. Yeah, it looks
There's a lot of
really
shit broken.
weird. They changed it up.
The font is fucked up, and almost a lot of the objective elements, when you pull up either full action report afterwards or you're looking at small, like, in the action, it's just not displaying correctly. There's been a bug for a couple patches now, and I don't quite understand why during this break, because it was happening on the old patch when they were playing, happening on the new patch when playing the old patch in Major 1. I don't know how in the last 5 or 6 weeks they haven't fixed this bug.
Are we sure the font
It's been
guy
around
was
since the middle
not?
of January.
Are we sure the font guy was not a part of the 68 layoffs?
Who the fuck knows?
He
I'll
could
tell
have
you
been.
that.
The font guy
But-
could be gone. Slay.
But they need to fix Codcaster because you can't accuracy hill time.
We
There's
need that
other
guy
stuff they're
back, Tom.
busted, Like I'm surprised it's been fixed yet because it's buggy. But then getting back on topic, man, like if Paco had played P1 correctly, they win map 1. The series is a little bit different. Instead, Carolina was down pretty big in the beginning of the map 100, and they kind of battled back the tail end of the first rotation and the second rotation to make it a game. And New York could have closed it out. And then we went into map 2, and I think to Sam's point earlier, like, I was very surprised that Invasion S&D got in here, and Carolina looked much improved on that map.
Yeah, Pat, I mean, let's go to you. New York, they've been looking really shaky, and I think we definitely got to start talking about them because they go into the major, they get top 12, they come back online, and, they get the win today, but there's no way they're happy with that win. I mean, it's a nail-biter win again. They got to go all the way down to a last map. I mean, what do you think is going on with New York? Do you think P-Dog was the glue to this team, Slay?
I don't. I don't. I think to Sam's point, I agree. Hydra literally was him last year and willed this team to win on sole performances alone sometimes. And not only that, this whole squad has been so inconsistent in the kills column. And even when they slay, I feel like because they're so inconsistent, their style of play is off. That's why we see look, they blew these guys out of the water in kills, but they still didn't win convincingly.
They do play very individually, and it's an inconsistent way of playing. Even in S&D, they're always running by themselves, trying to make a play.
Also is strange to me. That guy can literally like the best player in the game sometimes on his POV, and then sometimes just like, why is he getting world starred? I don't know. I think this whole squad just needs to go to the drawing board and be like, yo, we got to be a team. We got to figure this shit out because this team should be way better.
That's what Kismet said in the interview. He said that exact thing. Go ahead, Sam.
So I've heard.
Hold on. Sam, what were you going to say?
Sam, go ahead, Sam.
I mean, I was just going to say that Major 1 should have been that. Let's go back to the drawing board. They got fucking last, bro. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be overtly negative about it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm assuming they haven't gone back.
Bro, we got to have a serious talk about how bad this team is. Like, if we go on the show, we give a lot of flack to a lot of teams. New York is not a good Call of Duty team, bro. Like, these guys have been mediocre at best.
They don't look good at all, bro.
They're
not. I don't even think they're a top 4 team, like, definitively right now. Like, these guys are not playing good COD.
Well,
who would you say is better than them, though?
On the day, literally, you can make an argument on the day for fucking anybody. That's my point. Like, they're so.
I would pick talent, though.
It's insane.
For sure.
Yeah, everyone's gonna pick talent, but like this, bro, this game isn't even like that much like talent oriented, bro. Like,
no, but I'm saying if there's a toss up, I'm gonna pick the most.
No, you're gonna pick talent, sure, but. Talent also just got dead fucking last and should have lost to the Carolina Royal Ravens again.
Yeah, but they got Fugaze at the event.
Have you guys heard the same stuff I heard about this team and sort of like they're a little bit lost in what they want to do in a map?
I'm gonna let you take the reins on that one, Benjay, because I have not heard that.
You guys heard the same thing I have, and I've heard this from multiple people. So
who are your sources?
Not gonna divulge my sources, but I've heard that there's some levels of disagreement on how this team wants to play Respawn.
I've also heard the same thing.
New addition Dante and sort of the rest of the squad, and they're not on the same page on how they want to play situationals. And I think that leads to like what Kiz alluded to. They're just not playing together. He's not aligned on trying to do the same thing. I don't agree with Pat's assessment last year that Paco hard carried them to some fucking 3 wins last year.
Not hard carry, but he literally was the clear MVP of the game. Like he was the best player in the world.
He won a lot of maps by himself. He actually
but he was literally running around doing whatever he wanted.
He was just an insane bailout, bro. Like he just relieved so much pressure on the map. He literally pieced. He created openings. He was good. Like when you have the quote unquote best player in the world on your team at a point in time, like he just makes the game so much easier. Like it's just hard to lose.
He played well, I agree, and was a reason why he was the MVP, but we're like underselling the impact that Preston and Kiz had playing behind that, especially to me, Kisman and the performances he had. Some of the events he was fucking final. Like, I don't think Paco hard carried them. I do think that Kiz is struggling at times this year, and I think he's still trying to find the way that he wants to play around the team. But I agree with Sam. I think this team, is a big stage for them to figure out Respawn, because in Search they look good. I know they had a tough map too, but they looked pretty fine on the last map, and I like the way they played Karachi. I just feel like, in general, the Respawn's been on and off, and you saw what happened when they pulled up to Major 1. Yeah. The S&D wasn't working, and they were getting slammed into respawns, and that's how they got dead last.
But I want to rewind this back. So, Chris, what I was talking to you about before, because you said this, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
The game is played a lot differently than MW2. It's a completely different game. And I agree, like, talent's obviously important. I'm with Pat. I feel like you always want to get talent on a roster.
You
like,
always want to get
talent. The most talent you can get on a roster, that's what you do. Like that, and then you try and make it work. But you really do got to make sure you're playing this game the right way, bro. It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're not playing the game the right way, you're going to get shit on. You're going to get pooped on.
There's just so many head glitches on this game.
Yeah, head glitches, these setups, like spawns, like you can get mowed down. You can get blended fast on every map. On every map. So it's like if your teamwork is off and you're not staying ahead of the game. And I was watching the Perception, the Atlanta FaZe Perception. They've been, it's kind of like a little documentary series they've been doing, following them around at events and talking about the matches. And even the players, it was Coach RJ who said it. And I think Crowder said it behind the scenes at the event. But they weren't getting to their spots quick enough. And it was clearly hurting them at the event. Like Toronto was just, their decision-making was a lot more decisive. And they were constantly beating them to spots, beating them on rotation, even in S&D, beating them to, I don't know, mid-map control, depending on the map, but beating them to those, access points on the map, those high points on the map where they're just getting complete control. They have to focus on that because that's what New York has. They have that talent, and they're able to play like that. But right now, they're just all over the map, and they don't seem like they have a game plan, which is weird because you'd think if you're in New York, just watch Toronto and just mimic Toronto. Just copy what Toronto is doing. I mean, let's be honest. This is what Sam, Pat, Chris, I mean, Ben, we've been here before. Do teams not copy the best teams? I mean, if you're not watching the best team in the game,
they do. But the problem is with this game is like Scrap touched on it earlier. A lot of these maps they don't have flow. So even when you study a team and you like look at like what they're doing, it's very hard to mimic because like it's all like
Invasion
timing based.
doesn't
Like
have
you can
flow.
see.
But
There's
I
certain
think some of
maps
the other
that
maps
don't have yeah, but like there's a lot of hills and stuff that I'm saying like don't have a lot of flow. The point is like a lot of it's like they know what to do. It's just that their timings of like when they're doing it is just so off because it's just hard to mimic. It's not that easy. Like you can see Toronto hit these places on the map, but like it's more so about when they're doing it, why they're doing it, like the amount of kills they have, like the hill, like there's just a lot that goes into it that copying it isn't so black and white like it was in other games that are a little bit more like structured. Like this game, there's the setups are structured, but in terms of like breaking, there's so many like niche little timings that you have to like really acknowledge, and that's why like Toronto's so good. They're like IQ as a team right now is just so far ahead of everybody's in Respawn. They like are always making the right plays and like staying ahead.
Yeah, and you see the pinned text in the chat from Kismet. Kismet in the chat said, "We have disagreements on how we want to play. We just said our teamwork is off sometimes with chows/trades." I mean, isn't that pretty much what we're saying? That it's kind of off. I mean, when it comes down to teammates disagreeing on how to play the game, I just feel like people have to step in, and somebody just needs to like.
That's when the coaches have to say something.
Yeah, like the coaches have to step in, and even the players themselves, like they all have to talk and be like, listen, this is what we want to do, and like this is how we're gonna get on the same page. Because if you can't get on the same page in practice, then it's chalked. It's over with.
Tom, apparently you're an L reader.
Why? They all saying L reader. Why they all spamming L reader? What did I say?
You didn't read what he said, right?
I believe he was questioning what Ben said.
Oh, he was questioning. Well, he put it in the chat 5 minutes ago. I didn't know what the fuck he was referring to. I thought he was just saying.
I think he was calling bullshit on Ben, and then said that the only issue was our trades.
I mean, Tom, you've heard the same thing.
I read it properly. Fucking assholes.
To what I said, Tom, you've heard the same thing I've heard, correct?
Well, why don't you guys stop saying like you've heard this and
listen,
reveal the people you've heard it from?
And because you.
Nah, that would be just be stupid as fuck. Why would we reveal sources? Then our sources would never give us any sources ever again.
But we need to verify these sources, is what I'm saying.
I feel pretty confident about this one.
I mean, listen, I'm not as confident as Ben on this one.
Okay.
I definitely have heard it from like one or two people, and it wasn't even like that serious. Like when they were talking about it,
players,
like,
Tom.
Yes, players, and it wasn't even like it wasn't even like a thing where they're like, oh, they're fucked. It's just saying like, oh, they're just going through it right now. They're figuring this shit out. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like super dragged. But I will say with the New York Subliners, I mean, bro, they can obviously regroup and get this shit back together, but they have to get on the same page, bro. And if they can't figure out how to do that, unless Bulldog's calling cap in the chat, I don't know, Ben, I'll let you take this one if you feel like this is 100% a problem with the New York and that's what they've been talking about. I don't know. I'm not in their camp. I don't practice. I stand
by what I said. I think the team's got a good idea how they want to play in S&D. I think Respawn, you see it, bro. They get stuck within two minds of playing around the objective or spawn killing. They're not all on the same page. And we saw that it cost them in the first map. And I feel like they almost trolled the control. And you see when they get in flow state, they're a dangerous team, bro. The way that they played at the end of that invasion.
The listening on the invasion was one of the best that I've heard this year.
They were just that is the level we knew New York can play with the squad. Like they can be up there with the best, but they just have not consistently played that level, and they've had to win like 4 game 5s this year. I just think they're not. They still got some work to do to catch up to FaZe in Toronto for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
catch up to the other teams. They're not even there. They're not even. Their side shouldn't be set on FaZe in Toronto yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
they need to be winning consistent respawns against mid-pack teams, and they're not doing that.
I mean, they were looking good, and they pulled to the major and lost to Minnesota and Carolina, which is interesting because online the only team they lost to was Toronto. And they got
to be fair, they're still one of 4 teams that have a positive win-loss record in the league, right?
Correct. A lot of people are the other way.
Yeah, no, not a lot of people. Everyone else. It's Toronto, Atlanta, FaZe, or Atlanta, Optic, and New York are positive. Everyone else is negative.
He said, I mean, obviously we're not where we want to be. Hold on, I gotta scroll up. The chat's moving quick. What did he say?
I mean,
obviously we're not where we want to be. Just the idea of multiple sources in quotes. We have no idea of our game plan is faded. We play 12 hours a day. That's what he said.
Which is fine, but I mean, I'll stand by what I said. So I don't know what you want me to say about that. I'm not going to say who told me information. That's not how this works. I feel pretty confident in the information that was told to me. Obviously, y'all control your own destiny, so I can't.
I mean, you know what's crazy? Like New York is 7-3, Optic's 7-5, bro.
What happened, Pat?
Like, if we ignore the CDL points and only go off match win and match loss, like New York is in third. Like they're 7-3. Optic is 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
here's what I'll say, bro. You look at all the rest of the teams, and like, I don't see an obvious other like is going to lock down top 4 candidate other than New York. Seattle just dropped their best player. Miami, we saw they get slammed by Toronto. LAG, Vegas, Carolina, Boston, Thieves.
Oh yeah, they're all
Minnesota,
chalked.
we really like. That's what I'm saying. This New York team can step into that void. Are they going to be able to consistently beat FaZe or Toronto to split? I don't know. And we've seen that gameplay can get to that level. They just got to get to it, during the split and then carry it to land so that we actually have some competition and not just watching Optic, Toronto, and FaZe duke it out on every Sunday.
They just need consistency, bro. Period. Like I said, the listening and the invasion chat, I implore you to actually go listen to it. Like the way that they played that game for invasion was legitimately like some of the most impressive hardpoint that I've watched this year. And like if that can be a consistent thing for this team, then yeah, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna gas them. But like until they're doing that on a regular basis, at least or semi-regular basis, at least, like they're just not gonna compete against FaZe and Toronto. Period.
Yeah.
Grade.
One spawn coming in from the series. I didn't quite understand it. Maybe you guys can take a look at this. Sam, I know we were watching it during the watch party. We wanted to watch this one back.
Yeah, let me look at this shit again.
So first, I'll rewind it back a little bit more. Okay, so you'll see the New York. Everybody dies from New York. Okay, it's a 4 dead. They're all getting funneled ice cream. Okay, 3 guys spawn up palace for New York, but 1 guy spawns right on the pinch, right behind him. Spawns right behind.
It has to just be where Tej is.
You think Tej did? But Tej was
because the palace spawn's a default, and like where Kiz spawns is a super emergency spawn in this situation.
It's just weird, Sim, because they spawn there while Tej
should
is
not
already
be able to block that.
Like Tej is already there.
Well, no,
like,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
like-
But that has to be the reason.
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like right here, like look, like Tej doesn't move from this spot, and they still spawn here. Like New York players still, like he spawns here, boom, and then the next one, like he doesn't move, stays in the same spot, and then the next guy spawns there. It's just weird, bro. It's just a random spawn. The game's broken.
This chain of events
Yeah.
actually leads into the P3 too.
Probably
which
because
is,
it's just a combination of 7 and 6, I think, is what
yeah,
it
like
is.
6 took a couple steps forward. T just pushed up. That spawn opened.
We
I
got
guess.
Austin in the chat might be dropping some knowledge here, so I'm standing by for that. But I mean, to your point, this swing the game, bro. I mean, Carolina tilted after this. The P3s can be 60. So,
the
well, there you
game
go.
is
The game is
shit.
Well, there you go.
Austin
But anyway,
said, Slasher said,
good
"Do you
man
want to
from
know the
Austin.
reason the game is shit?" That's what he said.
Fair enough. But it
high
made-
level
it
analysis
made,
right
it made
there.
them swung the game because
Great
Carolina was set up
analysis.
to rotate to the P3 here and get 60 seconds. Instead, they didn't, and they got blended on P4, blended on
Dude.
P5. Like
Clay
New York
made an
blew the game
unreal
open over
play right
3
here
hills.
too. Like prior to
Yeah.
this whole situation, Clay made one of the like an insane play to guarantee spawns, like stay alive, got a 2-piece, and then Kiz just ruins it all with the spawn.
Yeah, it was fucking insane. Clay was literally in a grueler. He was in war fighting for those spawns, bro.
Yeah.
And he actually was making good plays. He did play his life really well, making sure you don't flip. Because if you flip on this hill and you get chained down to the P3, yeah, you get blundered quick. This map is dog shit. I hate this fucking map. I hope it gets.
This has got to be
removed.
the next one to go for Vista eventually.
Yeah.
It just has to be, in my opinion.
We've been playing Vista and it's been playing out pretty well. But all right, guys, any final thoughts on Carolina or New York? I think both teams have been struggling, and we'll just be paying a closer look to them moving forward and just seeing what's going on. I definitely don't think roster mania is that far away for some of these teams. Because again, if it's not working, they might need to make more changes. What, Ben?
Carolina has a fairly straightforward schedule to split, so I'm a little concerned about the slaying on this team and like the momentum stuff. Would y'all?
Where is their slang?
Fellow online has just been getting cooked like hard. I mean,
Hey,
everyone
he
else is
ain't
like
the
doing
only
the best.
one.
He's not. I always said everyone
They're
else
all
is
getting
also
cooked,
struggling
bro.
sometimes, but Tyler's been getting cooked online.
I
bro.
mean, they got to find it, bro. They avoid FaZe this split. They avoid Toronto this split. They just have New York and Optic, Boston, Seattle, IG, Miami, Vegas, or like they can find 3 or 4 wins there if they lock in. If not,
I mean,
like
who
I don't
though?
really,
I feel like LAG and Boston could both beat this squad.
Yeah, they could also lose though. You know?
Yeah, I
It's
just
not
feel
like
I
a
feel
straightforward series. That's like, oh, who do I pick
Yeah.
on the day kind of thing.
They have a chance. I think there's some obvious issues with Carolina team and being able to control the flow of things and shooting back and not getting frustrated. And if they can't overcome that, I don't know what to say, bro. I guess they're gonna make more changes after this major.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any final thoughts on either two of those teams?
I got nothing.
All right.
No.
What are
I think
matches
that was the final
tomorrow?
thought.
Let's see. We should probably take a look at matches tomorrow real quick and see.
How many
You
are
wanna do
there?
predictions
First
now
off-
or
There's only
do it
3
at the
tomorrow.
end?
There's
Nah,
only 3
we
tomorrow,
can
but-
predict them now just because we got other stuff to talk about, and we could do it at the end. I just think since we're already talking about matches, we usually
Yeah, we
do
might as well,
predictions
'cause
after we
this,
talk about matches.
this whole lawsuit situation might run on a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, we can do it. It's Boston, Carolina, FaZe, Miami, New York, Seattle.
All right, Boston versus Carolina. Sam, why don't you start us off? Who do you got in that series?
I'm gonna take Boston. New look ASIM right there.
Ooh, a
We
little honeymoon period.
3-1. Yeah, a little honeymoon period.
How have they been looking in scrims? Do we know?
0 insider info on that one.
Tommy would be your guy.
I mean, I've talked to Asim. I mean, he says they're doing good in scrims, but I'll be honest, everybody I talk to does.
Everyone's doing good in scrims.
Yeah, I don't really take that.
I just like their team comp a lot. Like, it's not even just because of ASIM. It's just like the pieces kind of make sense if they can actually get the people that need to step up. Like, I think that team's actually gonna be pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, Chris, who do you got? You got Boston?
I got Boston.
Pat?
Yeah, I got Boston. I mean, shit. The last time I saw them, Austin had a 1.5 and they lost. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was
That's
on land.
Never good.
true.
Flashbang coming through. Did everybody vote? I'm gonna go with
Ben, I don't
Boston
think
as
Ben,
well.
did you go?
I got Boston. I got Game 5 Boston. I got a banger.
Yeah, I got a banger as well. Game 5 Boston. Go with Boston on that one. And then we got Atlanta FaZe going up against
DoorDash.
Miami. I think it's going to be a DoorDash as well. I think Miami's just going through the blender right now, and they're just in a pickle. I think they're in a series pickle. They got to figure it out, and I think after the
Fickle, no
slammers today.
disrespect to Vickle.
Yeah, good one, Ben. It's
God damn it,
phenomenal.
Ben.
It's a good one. It's a good
God fucking damn it all,
one.
man.
But I'm going to go with Atlanta FaZe 3-0. Ben, who do you got?
Atlanta FaZe 3-0.
Sam?
DoorDash, line of face.
I don't know. Chris?
Atlanta FaZe.
Patrick Price, a.k.a. The Slay.
Hey.
All right, and we got the New York Subliners going up against Seattle Surge. Obviously, New York, they struggled a bit today, but they did get the W. And we see a new look to the Seattle Surge tomorrow. I'm going to personally go with New York in this one. I think it's going to be New York. I'm going to go 3-2 New York. Ben, who do you got? Actually, 3-1 New York. Ben, who do you got?
I've heard Seattle hasn't scrimmed a bunch because all the shit going on there. So I think they'll be under practice going in this one. I got New York. I got her taking it 3-0.
Okay, who do you got, Sam?
New York, Seattle dropped their best player, and they haven't been scrimming. So
Yeah, Seattle did drop their best player, so that's going to be real tough. Chris, who do you got?
I got New York, but I really hope Seattle proves me wrong here because I think New York needs a fuck ton of work. So I need them to start losing games to kind of justify our little thought process here, and then Seattle will just be it would be a happy like surprise, I guess, to see like Breezy make is Breezy to make
Breezy.
to make an impact here for this team and maybe prove some people wrong. So
Resi and the Breeze.
Pat?
New York.
New York. Okay. Seems like we all had the same picks today. Nobody had.
Yep.
I think tomorrow might be pretty straightforward. At least that's how we think it's gonna go.
which means all of us are wrong.
Which means all of us might be wrong
together.
If we are all wrong, that would be insane. That'd be crazy. But I think we should move on unless anybody has anything else about matches tomorrow or on the matches today. Anything?
No, let's move on and talk about what the fuck happened last night.
Okay, so yeah, last night, obviously, a lot of stuff hit the fan, and let's just switch on over and show you guys what's going on. Charlie Intel, they tweeted out, the lawsuit filed by CDL team owners against Activision alleges that Activision bought MLG in 2016 to fully monopolize its esports business and is claiming Activision failed to get FTC permission to acquire MLG.
Wait, let's back up.
I was gonna say more. The rumor on the block right now is that it's Scump and it's Hector, nobody else, right? Unless I'm wrong on that. I'm pretty sure it's nobody else.
It's not a rumor, but you're gonna kind of 101.
Yeah, Ben,
it real quick.
go ahead. So, yeah,
All right,
go ahead.
So,
go ahead, Ben.
turn event. So what it sounds like is
Ben Legacy episode.
okay.
Go ahead,
Turn
Ben.
Legacy.
Just Ben.
So chain of events, Scump and Hector, and this was covered by the Activision statement. We'll get to that probably in a bit. Basically, Scump and Hector sent a letter to Activision some point recently and said, "Hey, we have these issues. We feel like you guys are monopolizing COD. We're seeking, a settlement here. And Activision basically told them to take a hike. So Hector and Scump, as the parties here, said, okay, we're going to file a lawsuit, which they did in California against Activision. The other 11 CDL teams are named as co-conspirators, but not in the sense of like they're seeking damages from the co-conspirators. And basically, they're alleging that Activision, since 2016, has been working to monopolize competitive Call of Duty and has an illegal monopoly. Because you can have a legal monopoly, but they're saying an illegal monopoly over competitive Call of Duty. And they are seeking significant damages, upwards of $680 million, although I believe in litigation, I guess you can maybe get triple at that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that much.
680 million.
There's a lot of claims in here. There's a lot of claims about Hector and the ways that Hector's either gotten, damage from a financial aspect or otherwise, as well as from Seth via missed sponsorships and partnerships via the rules in the CDL. There's an incident described in which he's coerced to sign rules. Otherwise, he won't be able to play. So a lot of allegations, and a lot of smart lawyers I talked to have said that this is potentially an interesting case, or there's a potential vehicle in which those two guys will likely get a settlement from Activision. Or the case will get dismissed.
I think that's where it's going. I think it's going towards the settlement. I think that's where a lot of people are thinking it's going. But do they have a real case here? Do you think?
Wait.
Yeah.
Like we do predictions for matches, let's do predictions for the outcome of this.
I think it's going to be a settlement, 100%.
I got settlement 3-0 DoorDash challenge.
Ben?
I talked to some lawyers on background because I'm not just to be clear, none of us are lawyers. None of us are antitrust lawyers. None of us are
Speak for yourself.
lawyers.
I'm a Reddit lawyer.
I talked to some people on background, and by the way that they explained to me this case, there is actually a decent chance this case gets dismissed because the crux of their case is that the monopolized market is competitive Call of Duty. And Activision and potentially the judge might be open to this, that there is no market in that sense. The market is bigger. And on top of that, Activision is not acting as an illegal monopoly. They're acting as a copyrights holder on Call of Duty because they own the intellectual property of Call of Duty that afford them.
All right, but I was just looking for one prediction here.
Yeah, so I'm actually saying that I think likely potentially some parts of this will be removed. I think they'll eventually settle. They may not settle on this lawsuit. They may settle out of court just to kind of tie a loose end on this.
So your prediction?
I think they're gonna settle out of court. Is what I think is gonna happen.
Okay. For
That's
me,
a 3-1, but they win the S&D, Pat.
Gotcha. For me, dismissed.
Gentlemen's 3-0.
Dismissed, not close.
You think it's
DoorDash.
going to get dismissed, Pat? You think it's going to
A
get dismissed?
DoorDash dismiss.
Really?
Yeah.
Dismissal with prejudice, what they call that.
Well, I mean, I will say Activision did make a statement. I'll find it now, and I'll pull it up.
The last sentence of that statement is so fucking funny. It's so funny.
I don't even know how they thought that was going to go by. I don't think... Bro, everybody called him out on that last sentence. As soon as they read it, everybody's like, what the fuck are these guys
Just
talking
absolute
about?
legal bullshit.
But it seems like this initially started when Hector wanted to get into the league, and he had the money up front, apparently, to get into the league, but the investors, or the league was telling him that he needed investors, or Activision
yeah, they wouldn't
was
allow
telling
him as a sole owner to enter the league.
But why? Why? I don't understand that. If he has the money, if they have the money and not without the investors, and they're showing you proof of the funds, what's the point? Why do you need investors? I don't understand that.
I mean, look at the candidates that got
Is that
in.
bullshit?
All multi-billionaire like investment groups or sole billionaires.
So it's very important here.
Mm-hmm.
First off, there are facts presented by the plaintiffs, aka Scump and Hector in this case. This is how they see the events. Obviously, there'll be some conflation with how defendants see it. There's two phases of what did Hector have money. There's phase one, which is prior to 2019 when he was trying to get a spot before Modern Warfare 2019. That's not necessarily addressed in this lawsuit as to those conversations, just that they told him that he had to partner, and that's how he paired up with Hard Carry Gaming LLC, basically, Andy over at NRG. What's addressed in the lawsuit in more detail is the next run ago when he had an agreement with Immortals to buy back the Optic branding and as well the spots. The CDL Activision executed their right on the team participation agreements of the team signed to be able to review that deal. And they basically told Hector, hey, first off, you got to prove that you have the income. You got to prove that you have $3 million, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the lawsuit, it says, okay, well, Hector, you need to go and be able to get a $10 million line of credit. So it sounds like he was in the process of doing that.
Yeah.
And they allege a conversation that happened, no date on it, that apparently Hector was told by an Activision employee, which is insane if this happened, by the way, that he was not the type of owner that they wanted, that they were looking for other types of owners, and that he would have to, partner up with investors that Activision
Saying
likes.
that
What the
to
fuck does
Hector
that even
is
mean,
insane.
bro. What is
Yeah,
that?
no, it's crazy. So the
That's
comments can be
insane.
taken one of two ways. It can be taken as this is discriminatory, but it can also be taken as they wanted to have him partner with sort of the sort of billionaire group that was getting involved with these leagues. So I think that's an insane allegation. I think if this case goes to discovery and those conversations come out, those emails come out, I believe that could be pretty damaging to Activision, and people have to testify under a deposition and sort of confirm that had to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if there's emails and stuff like that, that's where it gets really, really interesting. And I don't know what they have. I mean, let me ask you guys this. When it comes to the platform, do you think that had anything to do with it? Like the exclusive, because I was reading on
That's in there.
Yeah, the exclusivity stuff, it's in there, right?
Well,
So-
they wanted, it was like, Ben,
No.
correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like a quid pro quo for the cloud services with Google, correct?
Okay, so I'm going to say personally, I don't agree. I don't think it's laid out as a quid pro quo. I'm going to be honest, I don't really agree with how the lawsuit presents this one. So they say that I think the issue is more that the teams and the players gave up the right to seek and get that revenue from a YouTube exclusive deal because that revenue wasn't accessible to them. The way the lawsuit presented is what we've said on the show for fucking million years is that any deal that Activision had with Google, is CDL becoming YouTube exclusive or to be able to become YouTube exclusive was a piece of a bigger deal that Activision was going to make in order to get wholesale pricing on Google Cloud hosting servers. That's not news. We've all known that for a while. Pat, I think you and I have talked about that 15,000 fucking times on this show. If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, Pat, what do you think about all this, Pat? You've been pretty quiet. I thought you were going to... What are your thoughts on all of this? I mean, I know you said you think it's going to get dismissed, but I mean...
I
When you
mean,
saw everything, what was your immediate thoughts?
I think, to be honest, I think this is a maneuver by Hex and Seth, which I mean, they're more than in their right to go for it to get some money here. I think they realized that. I think we all realize. Let's lead with that we all realize the CDL is over, right? No matter if it's today,
This was the beginning of the end.
in a few months, in a year. It's always been this case. Like it was as soon as the Overwatch League struck that deal, it was done for COD.
Yeah.
And so Hex is now in a position where yes, the CDL is likely to dissolve, but he's out of ownership of this Optic brand. I mean, we saw it. Like 92.5% is owned by Envy. And over the last few years, like he's went through three different ownership groups that have owned this brand, and he has had to buy it back.
Sold
and
the brand, bought it back and forth,
Yeah.
and then sold it again
So-
to the 92, whatever percent.
So in my opinion, he's in a position where he feels he has some leverage, and I think he does.
Yes, leverage.
To put Activision in a position to potentially get a settlement. And I think, based on Activision's statement, I don't know how much is true, but I mean, like, I would assume that Hex and Seth's goal would have been, to get that settlement initially and not file this claim or this suit. And, obviously their hand was forced. They had to after they, went and tried to get a settlement beforehand. But I just don't see a world where this ends with anything other than wasted time. The biggest benefit, I think, will be if it gets to discovery and stuff just comes out, right, about some of the inner things that have happened over the last 4 years. That I think would be the biggest win. And to me, it's more so of just like an embarrassment situation on Activision, on the league, of everything that's went down. But I just don't see in any way possible that Hex and Seth come out with anything from this lawsuit.
The last sentence from Activision here, their statement: "We are disappointed that these members of the esports community would bring this suit, which is disruptive to team owners, players, fans, and partners who have invested so much time and energy into the Call of Duty League's success."
Yeah, it's a
Fucking
crazy,
insane
insane
sentence.
But
That is a crazy statement.
clearly,
Yeah, I mean, that's typical.
That is
lawyer, like,
crazy.
listen, Activision's got to decide how they're going to defend this lawsuit. Likely, what they will do is they will try to get this case dismissed, and to the things that I outlined amongst some other stuff, as explained to me, they may have a decent case as dismissal. But to Pat's point, if the judge says no, let's proceed, this goes to discovery. There's an opportunity here, which, with if the parties and the judge kind of do so that some of these agreements, such as the player agreements, team participation agreements, the additional rules document that y'all have to sign at the player summit, which I'm sure we'll get to in a second.
I would love to speak on
the
that.
league charter, some of these emails.
I don't think there's anyone. I don't think
damaging.
there's anyone in their right mind saying like what Activision has done over the last like 4 years. The CDL has been one, good for the scene, right? That's obvious, or just like ideal for anybody involved. I think the problem lies with they weren't doing anything illegal, which is just the conversation that we need to have, right? Like, was what happened like good for anybody involved? No, not at all. But I just don't think it crossed any illegal.
It's just shitty business practice.
I
want to say something. I'm totally in favor of like Seth and Hex and whoever else is involved, kind of taking these guys to court and really trying to get something back out of basically being screwed, because I feel like a lot of these teams, if not all these teams, were screwed in some sort of way. But the way they phrase that comment towards the end is so fucked, because it's making it seem like Seth and Hex are the ones that are
they're literally gaslighting us.
There's like Hex and Seth.
I mean, what do you guys expect them to say though? Like,
we're losing full about it. We're listen. We are in a litigation posture.
Like, of course they're going to say that bullshit.
Incendiary, crazy language, because this is what happens in this situation, right? Seth and Hector are suing the league. They're going to take a strong stand. They're going to fight these allegations, and they're going to throw out bullshit like that. It's an insane statement, but I don't think that that's the most important thing to talk about here. Then the case is very interesting. I think if it does go to trial, on the sports side, I don't know how much you guys know about like the antitrust cases that came in front of Major League Baseball in the early, like last century, and the NFL ones, but there's a lot of solved case law on professional sports leagues in regards to antitrust and anti-monopoly, not on the esports side. No one's ever approached a case like this with a publisher and one of these franchise leagues. And if that actually does come up and is litigated in a trial, it's going to have huge implications for not just Call of Duty. We're talking LCS, we're talking VCT.
There's definitely
about other
like widespread esports precedent here that would definitely be set if this goes far. The thing I'm wondering is if the CDL dissolves, right? What I'm questioning is, I mean, like we've talked about what the model would likely look at. A lot
of things could happen.
But I'm more so questioning like the support that Activision would have on just Call of Duty esports as a whole after this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I'm actually just curious.
Yeah, it can.
Can it get less than it is?
No, but yes, it can.
Yeah.
They could, like, for example, like Codcaster. What if they just stop implementing Codcaster into like the game?
Bro, they're not.
Is that an Activision thing?
That has nothing to do with
That has
Activision.
nothing to do with Activision.
Wait, but that's still Activision. Like that's still like them providing any sort of game.
Tired, bro. We've talked about this fucking conversation 3 or 4 times on the show, bro.
They can literally do anything they want with their IP, bro, to a degree, right?
I'm gonna tell you. Listen, we have talked about this 5-6 times in the last year. Can I explain real quick?
I'm just saying it could get worse.
Listen, here is what's going to happen, bro. I'm going to lay this down for you.
Lay it on the table. Put your balls on the table.
It is so
whip it out,
obvious what's going to happen here, bro.
Lay it down.
Activision is going to move back in the same situation that was like in the mid 2010s, bro. They're going to write checks when needed to support the marketing endeavor of Call of Duty Esports, prize pool, fun champs, shit like that. But the only game in town right now in terms of event production in esports in the Western world is ESL Faceit Group, right? You have PGL, but I don't know if y'all been watching the RMRs right now. PGL aren't the masterminds of production and tournament operations. It's going to go to ESL Faceit, and they've got a lot of money. They are backed by the PIF. And you know what the Saudi Arabian government probably love to do? They love to pump money into this shit and have the fucking champs finals in Riyadh. So don't be surprised when that fucking happens. There's still gonna be
But Ben, to your point though, like you mentioned the marketing stuff for the big events where they just signed a check, like talking about COD Champs, like that COD Champs could be done, right? Like think about
that's all it was ever back in the day, right, Pat? That's all they did. They did it for marketing reasons.
That was 2013 on, but I'm talking about even before 2013. There was Activision was like the involvement was basically none. Like MLG put on the leagues, and obviously, like there was those 6 events I think we had back in the day, but like there was no champs, there was no big events.
If they do this smart, bro, if they do this smart, the pivot is so obvious to y'all. If they do this smart, Champs becomes not only the Champs event for whatever professional Call of Duty is, it becomes a Champs event for COD Mobile or Warzone. Imagine a multi-week-long festival in which all of these esports scenes culminate their season. You don't think that is a massive aspirational goal both for a TO, say ESL FACEIT, to do, as well as Activision? That's definitely where we're gonna.
I mean, yeah, it would
bro.
be cool. It'd be awesome to see. But
I just don't think,
dude, they could cut the MP like esports side out altogether. They literally have Warzone, and like
they're not going to, bro. I think
I'm just saying they could.
Listen, for people I've talked to,
could get worse.
They're not. I don't think they're gonna do that.
It could get worse, but listen,
not.
chat. It's not going. I think. Listen, things are going to pivot. The scene will be different. I don't know if all the teams we have now will stick around. Same thing in Overwatch League. Uncertainty if all of the old franchises are going to come back to whatever, the Overwatch Champions Series that's going on right now.
Yeah, I'm praying you're right.
But there will still be investment into professional Call of Duty.
But where's the money going to come from, Ben? That's the thing. That's the question here.
So Activision will obviously.
So Saudi is just putting up like blind prize pools to run the league. I think you're just sitting in a situation where you're hoping for like a Saudi bailout.
Bro,
yeah. Like I'm saying,
what's going on? What do you think is going on in fucking?
I'm not saying that ESL can't run a as a tournament organizer, but if you're expecting like prize pools to just be insane because
they're not going to balloon in that way, but they'll hold the level.
I don't think they hold the level. I think they go down. I think they absolutely go down. I think salaries go down regardless.
You're a doom on this. From what
I'm not. That is not doom and gloom. That is literally reality.
Listen, from what I have heard about what aspirationally Savvy Gaming wants to do with not just Call of Duty, I'm talking esports scenes they can get their hands on. They're looking to stake themselves as being a foothold in those scenes, right? To come in with investment, because I don't know if y'all know how big the PIF is. There are so many fucking zeros in that fund. I don't even know how to count the amount of zeros in that fund. $10 million, $15 million is less than a cup of coffee in that fund. That might be a fucking penny in that fund. Yeah. For them to throw that much money is an afterthought to a fucking rounding error. I don't think that prize pools and salaries are going to 3x, 4x, and guys are going to be getting $5 million now. We're going to hold this level with a little bit of growth potentially. I
think you're hard coping.
ESL FACEIT
growth? Do you know? Are we right at the entire state of all esports and gaming in general? Growth?
I don't think
maybe
you guys,
in a couple of years when we fucking build this shit back up, if possible.
I don't think you understand or know about Saudi's 2030, 2040 plans.
No,
like they want to come in and own these industries.
You're talking about down the line, bro. Like that's a couple of years down the line. This guy said growth when there's so many people losing their jobs.
Bro,
like,
I really recommend, chat, if you guys don't.
You're on some esports hard copium right now.
You guys need to research the Saudi Arabian investment. These guys have made it very clear what their position is in the global market.
So you really think the Saudis are going to save us, Ben? You think they're just going to come in like Superman?
I don't think they're going to save, bro. But they're going to come in and they're going to come to an arrangement with Call of Duty and Activision where they're going to be responsible for.
I mean, Ben, I know where you're going with this whole Saudi thing, and it's like I can see Saudi doing one-off things and like doing things in Saudi. I don't know if they're just going to dive in and just completely change everything.
Let's hypothetically say that Hex and Seth win this settlement, right? But they can't be involved in Call of Duty esports after the settlement. Why would anyone be involved with Call of Duty esports at that point? Like, just hypothetically, let's say the settlement involved like a period where Seth and Hector couldn't be involved.
How would
going forward?
How would that be a remedy to any? How would that happen?
I'm just saying, if that was the terms of Activision, like where it was like, hey, like the settlement, these are the terms. You can't be involved in Call of Duty esports for X years going forward.
I don't see Activision.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, why Call of Duty esports dies then and there? The moment the Optic has
to do that, bro.
I'm giving you a hypothetical, just like your insane hypothetical of the Saudi government just sponsoring Call of Duty for the rest of time. Bro, your hypothetical is the Saudi government sponsoring Call of Duty for the rest of time.
If you've been paying attention to esports in the last year, this is not just coming out of nowhere, bro. This shit has been fucking telegraphed for 9-12 months, bro. Smart people in the industry have been talking about, this is what's been happening for a fucking year. Wake the fuck up. To your point, though, I don't see Activision in a major way like that retaliating against Optic. This case is a case of Hector and Seth and maybe other parties potentially down the line trying to get additional settlement money once this shit is unwound, right?
Yo, Pat.
They're trying to get an extra
20, $50
million.
Pat, you got to get the Saudis to hit up your X-Defy and
they're not going to push out, bro. They're not going to push out Optic fans. They're not going to push out Optic. Look, at the end of the day, I know Optic's relationship with Activision is interesting. I don't want to speak for that. I'm sure the terms of that now is going to be completely different after this lawsuit too. But they're not just going to tell those fans to go take a hike. They're not going to tell Hector and Seth.
Yo, guys, it's time to wake up. The Saudi government is saving the world.
I'm not saying they're saving anything.
I don't know,
bro,
Ben. I do think, Ben. I do think though. Ben, I will say though, I feel like with Activision, I don't know. They could just say fuck off and just fucking kick people to the curb and this and that. I mean, they could.
Stupid.
But Ben, you gotta think.
Why would they do that?
Because they already make. They don't give a fuck.
Bro,
they already make enough money.
Listen,
it just doesn't. They don't even care.
Bro,
They've never cared. They have never cared about this industry. They have never cared about it ever.
Bro, they've cared enough to try and fucking franchise it.
Yeah, because they want more. But bro, they've tried. It's all
They
a money.
want-
grab.
they want to make money,
wait.
they want
It's all
their
a money
fans
grab.
to
You
make
think
money.
you think the league franchising this was because they cared about the esports?
That's what I'm saying. It has nothing. They don't care about these.
Wait, Ben, are you telling me that you think Activision
Yeah, 'cause they wanna make a
franchised
business
COD
opportunity for them.
because they cared about the esport?
Yeah,
you
you
can,
money for them.
They
Oh,
franchised
you're
to rob
insane.
all these investors.
Yeah.
That's what
You guys
they
are
did.
just
That's
they
fucking
what
they
did, bro.
absolutely
Like,
robbed
We're
them.
12? What?
Bro,
They did. They
you
really
guys
did
gotta
it to
expand
rob
it,
these
bro.
people.
Bro,
Ben,
the
I
deck-
think there's
The
people
deck put
within
together
the
was the
company.
biggest finesse ever.
Ben, there's definitely people within Activision who care about the esport. There's a lot of great people in it within
but
Activision who care.
They saw a business opportunity, and we can agree or disagree
Yeah,
with
to
their
line their
thought
fucking
process.
pockets.
Yo,
100%, and we don't agree with the way
business
they execute.
business
Hold on, hold on.
opportunity is hilarious.
Bro,
We're
this
talking about
just-
finessing a bunch of billionaires.
This all
That's
just came full
so
circle.
comedy to
This all
me.
just came full circle. They literally did franchising to rob all these investors, and now they're getting sued because they fucking robbed.
I don't listen.
Wait, they
That's
thought
what I
that
was
Hector
thinking,
wasn't
bro.
rich
That's
enough.
literally
Wait,
what
they
I
thought
was
Hector
thinking. I
wasn't
was
rich
like,
enough
what?
and made him go get more
You guys
money.
really need to consider this fact. I listen. I've seen the original pitch deck. I don't agree with a lot of the information that was presented in the original CDL pitch deck.
They thought Hector didn't have enough money, so they made him go get more.
Go
so
ahead,
they
let
could
Ben
take
talk.
it.
Let him talk. Go ahead, Ben.
I
Go ahead, bro.
don't think. Listen, I think what happened. Let's talk about esports franchising.
Insane business plan.
All right,
Sam.
am I gonna fucking talk? Or are you just gonna?
You're good.
Go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
Like,
Oh
why-
my
why-
God,
why-
bro.
Heal him.
Bro, listen, I think this
Just
is
yap.
a case of people being fucking dumb. Bro, at the end of the day, these pitch decks were put together and giving people the information that they wanted to fucking hear. They wanted to hear that esports was blowing up. That was an investment opportunity. And it was a way for upper executives at Activision and Bobby Kotick to bring their friends in and theoretically make a lot of money. The problem is they didn't consider the scene that they were getting into. They didn't realize that trying to pivot the esport to be something it wasn't. We talked about this with Adam. Try and pivot to what was fucking working at the time was going to result in nobody making fucking money. And that's the bed that they are fucking living right now. And they've got to clean it up.
This is also what happened. they saw they hit a $30 million lick on all those teams that bought Overwatch
Yeah.
spots and went, holy shit, we could do this again.
Yeah, but they're
They did it
and they're
twice.
Think about
losing
it.
money on this.
People
They
who
didn't
had
make
first
money.
rights, people who had first rights to the CDL were Overwatch League spot owners. At first
Yes,
rights.
and no one
Fool me
bro,
once, shame on you.
You act like,
Like-
you act like Activision made it, bro. Activision is going to lose at the end of the day on CDL and OWL. They are going to lose tremendous sums of money on the
Yeah, but
operational costs of the
again,
league,
that went
the
down
lack
to
of
the fact
revenue,
that
and
COVID
buying everybody
occurred.
out.
COVID occurred, and they also delayed all these payments. And I'm sure in their original plan, they weren't planning to
There was
buy
no
out all these
delays.
orgs.
There was no delays in their original
Bro,
plans.
I think the problem with the original. But have you guys ever seen the original pitch decks for CDL and OWL? Have you guys ever seen them? And I'm
Mm,
probably
What is
never
it?
have.
It's a notebook that just says in hidden font, "This is full of bullshit." That's literally all it is.
Clear typeface.
I would love to see that book. I would like to see
I
what it
really
says in
would-
there,
I
though.
really would hope, again, as part of this lawsuit, I would love if that pitch deck came public because it's very fucking hilarious to me. First off, the owners knew exactly what they were getting into in terms of having to pay for TD and all that stuff. So they never say they didn't know that's bullshit. The projections in that deck were insane to me.
Yeah.
The projections that they made on
Yeah,
ticket
they were
revenue,
converting people
on
who don't
viewership
even
are-
know that Twitch is a
You're-
thing,
Bro,
or
it's it doesn't make any sense.
Pat, they're
and
gonna
and
pull
they,
up. Sorry,
and they
they're gonna-
convince these billionaires to get in on it. And at the end of the day, nobody's gonna make fucking money out of it.
Pat,
we
they're
got,
gonna
we got
pull up-
100
trying to
million
get a little
monthly
bit
active
here, so-
users, and we're gonna convert them all to esports fans.
Pat, they're gonna pull up the original 2019, 2020 CDL like schedule and just put
Yeah,
it
right.
forward,
Going
like,
to
what the
Paris
fuck?
4 times, London
No,
3 times.
No, honestly though, Ben, like I respect what you're trying to say, and I get it. There's, but at the end of the day, dude, I'm kind of just mind blown. You named he who shall not be named,
Who did I name?
Bobby Kotick, bro. That's Lee Voldemort,
I don't,
bro.
I don't care, bro. Bobby went on a
Dead
fucking
ass, bro.
NBC Bobby went on CNBC with fucking Robert Kraft. You probably have seen that fucking meme photo talking about the future of esports. Listen, at the end of the day, everybody saw this as a potential business opportunity. The problem is they were so blinded.
Bro, I
by
hate
the
I
upside
hate
here that they
the
didn't realize what they were
potential
getting
business
into.
opportunity. Like, we gotta stop saying that. It was literally.
Is it a false statement? Yes.
Yes, because
In
what it
what way is it
was,
false?
what it was the great finesse.
Yeah,
This
it
had
was.
nothing to do with a business opportunity. This was a great finesse. This
Finesse
was
in what
selling
way?
esports as something that it just wasn't, and wasn't ever gonna be, wasn't currently. It was just the great
Yeah,
finesse.
somebody said in the chat
That's
too.
what
They
it'll
took
go
half
down
the
as.
rev share, right? They took half the revenue
Yes,
share.
they made them pay
So I didn't-
$27.5 million, then
to
took
take
50% of all rev
I
share.
didn't know this. So they have
That's
to
insane.
pay out. They have to
Easy.
pay out 50% of all gross revenue, regardless of source, and then it's distributed prorated to the teams. I don't know how the proration happens. It's not specified in the lawsuit how that works. And Optic obviously is understandably not happy with that arrangement, although they agreed to it to get into the league. They knew what they were getting into, what they were signing up for. You can understand why an Optic or a Thieves or a FaZe, someone that will generate a decent amount of money, Toronto Ultra as well, generate a decent amount of money in sponsorships and stuff like that, other revenue streams, running events, and they've got to give 50% of it up.
What
to
was that
fucking
revenue
Vegas,
looking like?
to fucking Vegas that does AI fucking announcements for their players because they don't want to pay a fucking designer? Like,
It can't be good if they're firing. Half
Yeah,
of
I'm
their
just,
employees
curious.
every
I
fucking
would
year.
love to see the number on the revenue coming
They
in. and
deadass,
just-
they deadass paid $27 million and then paid taxes to Activision.
well,
That's
they
crazy.
haven't. Most of those teams have not paid anywhere
But
close to
that
27
Oh, no,
million.
they did not play like a
split
lump
rev
sum or
share
anything,
has
but-
been a thing since the get go, though.
That's
That's not new info.
Yeah, but it makes sense. Okay, like if you're the fucking NFL and you're making 300 million a year in revenue that's being split in TV money, that makes sense. For a league of this size, it makes fucking zero
They're
sense.
not making
And
any money anyway.
And I don't quite understand why that was not. Maybe it does work this way, and we don't know. I don't know if that agreement starts on year 0 of the league. This is what I'm curious about. Was that something that the teams were agreeing to that happened in 2019?
I know
2020,
I
or did
know
that
for a
kick in year
fact
5 or year 6?
I know for a fact the split rev like of the 50% that went to the league. I know for a fact the fact that was split between all 12 teams was a thing since the get go.
So it started year 1 of the league.
Yeah.
That's also
100%
probably
was
crazy.
year
I'm
one.
surprised, I'm surprised the owners agreed to that.
It was
I don't
probably
know
just
why.
based on
What
the
do you
absolute
mean?
fucking
That's
absurd
that's the
projections
only
that
way
they
to
gave
get
them.
everybody in. Like the people coming in been like they don't know if they're gonna have the most successful team, and they're comparing it to all the sports models that do this same thing. Like
It's just an insane
if-
arrangement because they agree
but
to charter on their-
it's
their-
it's the way to get them in. What do you mean?
Carriage
It's
rights.
it's obviously insane for this ecosystem, but for multi-billionaire groups who own professional sports teams, it's absolutely the way to get them in the door.
yeah.
it was definitely. I like you calling it the great finesse because at the end of the day, everybody, including upper executives at Activision, were swindled by this potential opportunity by other people. And like, I think Adam App really put it to a T on a show that we had probably 5 or 6 months ago, where they came in and tried to make COD something like the fucking NFL when they had an opportunity right in front of them that was fucking growing over years. Over
I mean,
years. They
bro,
just continued
half
that path. They were good.
half the execs that got that Activision hired were from
From the
professional
NFL.
sports leagues.
Yeah.
Like
A few
Yeah,
people in
no.
the chat want us to talk about the player contracts because I mean
Yeah.
people were bringing up. Sam's like, oh shit. People were bringing this up a little bit. I even saw Jacob Hale. He quote tweeted a tweet from Seth in 2020. So the tweet that Seth said, it's Gump. He said the CDO also made us sign a player contract in quotes in front of them without allowing us to run it by our lawyers at the player summit. It was a sign it now or you can't play at Minnesota type exchange.
It was the handbook.
handbook.
Yeah.
handbook, yeah.
It was the rules, the handbook rules.
Which normally
our
the handbook-
But
contracts were
to
already
be fair,
signed.
anything could have been in there, and they would have forced us to sign it.
Oh
Regardless.
no, for sure, yeah. But it
You
was a
sign
handbook,
this or you're
and
not playing.
and we
Yes.
and to be
That's
fair,
crazy, bro.
we've had to sign a player handbook like
A lot of
every
years.
year
Every
since
year.
like
Since the
20.
CWL,
Yeah, 2016, I think. It
And
was the
it's
same. It was the
pretty-
same thing. It was just a little bit more in depth this time, and it was at the summit.
And they fucking
And-
threatened us.
Yeah, well, no, I mean they did the same thing they've done before. Like if you don't sign the handbook, you can't play. They've done that every year. It's just
Bro.
this one was a little bit different because it was
that shit got laid out in
right
front of us at that player
yeah.
summit. Pat and Tommy, we were both there.
I was
Everyone was there.
Yeah.
And they fucking said, you cannot play in our league under this brand new franchise. And we didn't know what the fuck was in there. And we couldn't run it by anybody. They said, you're signing this or you're fucked. And guess what? We all fucking signed it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know any better. We didn't give a fuck. We just wanted to play at that point.
But so I feel for Seth because clearly, right, he is a bit of an outlier in all of this. He's a huge brand. restrictions on him, and it highlights an incident that happened later in that year in October where he did a Raid Shadow Legends stream and he got a disciplinary letter, and that kind of circles around what's covered in the lawsuit, like agreeing to these rules, the streaming rules, last second to play, and if you don't sign them, you can't play is insane. He never had time to review.
Wait, let's also be clear though. Let's also be clear. Seth, even back then, had a responsibility for the position he was in. Like Seth boycotting could have easily got everyone boycotting, and all 99% of everyone else boycotting would have been pointless if Seth didn't agree to it. Like I feel like there was still things that on the player side that could have been done, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
That needed 100% participation, and we didn't get it. So let's keep that in mind. Like, very important.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
Seth was also in a way. Seth was also in a way different
time.
position back then, though.
I agree, and I understand.
He didn't have to dive into that bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it would
I
have
don't
helped
think I would have
everybody.
either. I mean, it would have helped
would've helped
everybody, but
everybody.
it's a lot easier said than done now. Looking back on it,
we've talked about the
I mean, we
player
can
association
call
thing a bunch on here.
hindsight, but people saw it back then as well. And now Seth is suing the league, so it's like it's the same shit.
Listen, he understanding that the players association would be saying that then certainly is not going to protect Seth. It's going to protect bottom players in the league. But in the end, having that collective bargaining would have avoided some of these issues.
It would have protected everybody. Everybody. That's the whole point.
In more situations, generally benefits the people at the bottom than it does at the top.
Yeah, of course. But a unified front is for everybody.
Way better. Collective bargaining, 100p.
That's the problem.
So
Yeah.
We didn't have it from the get-go.
In particular, right, that we look at this tweet on here, right? Normally the handbook, again, it's innocuous stuff. It's dates. It's what happens on match days, how early you need to show up, media obligations, you sign it. There's not a lot of bullshit in there. But they tried the passive fast one, these guys. Now, Activision will probably argue, I assume, that, we were setting up the league. Stuff was coming together late. It just got ready before this event. We needed people to sign it. Or lawyers would say that these guys can't play because we'd be liable, blah, 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 which I think is a bullshit argument if they use it. I just think, like, telling the players, you got to sign. And it was not, I assume, Pat, it was a lot of pages. It's not like the 20-page handbook.
That bitch was
like there were
thick.
dozens of pages. Yeah.
I don't remember how it wasn't small.
No, because the reaction of the room, it was a fucked situation because you had kids in there, bro, 18 years old that were like, wait a second,
20, 30 pages.
like, bro, the amount of I've never felt that way in a room with the audience that we had there, bro. Everyone in that room was like, what? This is fucking weird. Like, are we sure we should sign this? Like, everyone was like kind of taking a second. Like where this is not just sign the handbook. Like, that was not that situation.
And unfortunately, Sam, is like, I think, that character is going to come up in Discovery. Like, they're going to want to explore what happened in that meeting to support the terms of their lawsuit here. I think it's insane to hand the guys 50, 60-page documents and say, you have to sign it here or you can't play on Thursday. Of course, I want my fucking lawyer to look at it, and they're going to take a couple of days. They should have said to the guys a week and a half, 2 weeks prior, send them before fucking Christmas, and take a look at it, and that way they have time to ask questions and get answers, and then sign that shit before they arrive.
Like, bro, this isn't the first time they've tried to give people literally a day to fix all their problems, right, Tom?
Yeah, definitely not.
Speaking of the 18-year-old stuff, though, I mean, dude, there were some of us in that room who understood, and the questions that were being asked, and this is the whole problem with the league as a whole. When it started, was players were not on the same page. Like, there were some players who had just signed their contract and just thought everything was peaches and everything was great. And it's not being able to get everybody on the same page from the get-go has been a problem. And this isn't just the CDL. This has been Call of Duty as a whole.
But to go back to my point before, though, Pat, Seth made his brand into what it was and worked hard for what it was.
I'm talking about everybody. I'm
saying you keep saying back in the day we needed 100%. It's that's not all on Seth, bro. Seth is in a way different position. I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes.
It still benefited Seth. That's what I'm saying. Seth could have been selfish about it, but at the end of the day, it still benefited Seth. But he was, and look at what happened. It didn't help him in the end.
You guys should have had.
Well, it's just different. I feel like back then it's just way different. Now they're talking about tens and millions of dollars.
It's the same. It's the same thing for LeBron, bro. It's the same thing for LeBron. LeBron is in a position where LeBron could think and do whatever he wants, but at a certain point, you respect the position you're in, and you kind of have a responsibility to make the decisions that are good for not only yourself but everybody involved. Like it's I don't know.
Has that happened in the
huge-
NBA, Pat, with LeBron, where something came up and LeBron had to step up and do something? And
I'm
he
pretty
didn't,
sure.
or he didn't?
I'm pretty sure the
There's a couple
bubble. The
incidents,
bubble.
yeah,
The
the
latest thing was
bubble.
the bubble
Yeah,
situation.
no, he
like
was apparently very instrumental in some of the terms of the bubble, and a few other things. And obviously, he's gotten hot water over the China stuff, the Hong Kong stuff, or whatever, Taiwan shit. But I think to Pat's point, bro, the biggest miss here is listen. These players should have been organized and had put themselves in a position to collectively bargain in 2018 when we knew this shit was going to happen. World War II, we knew that year that was the beginning of the end. Black Ops 4 was clearly the last year. You could have known years prior this is going to happen. And the players should be at the table, and they could have prevented things like getting fucked over in the buyout clause, getting fucked over on the salary cap.
why
getting
is
fucked over
people
on other
saying
terms of
Seth
player
was
agreements.
18? Like the chat is delusional. Seth was like 26. Like
Seth is 26
Uh,
now, we're saying.
no, he was 26 when the league started.
When the city, I thought they might be talking about back in the day.
Are you sure? He was not. He was.
They're
I
probably
don't think
talking
he's
about
that
back in the
old,
day.
bro.
He's
What do you mean?
he's what a
Seth
year
is my age.
He's born
younger
in
than me.
98. He was not. He was
Yeah,
not
he's a year
26
younger than me.
Seth is
He was
28 right now.
He was like 23 when the year started, 22. But he was definitely not 18.
CDL was 4 years ago.
Yeah, he was not 20. He was not 18 to your point though, which I
No,
agree.
yeah, no. Chat thought chat's like you're comparing
No,
a
no, he was not-
40-year-old
he was not a
LeBron
minor.
to Seth being 18. Like Seth was 18 a decade ago. Like what are we saying?
But listen, the players union stuff, just to put a pin in it, and I think we've talked about this with Clay, right? In order to get that off the ground, it required everybody to really pitch in financially. Someone has to pay the lawyers to get the union organized, to get the like you have to create a whole structure, and then have representatives to be able to bargain on your behalf.
Who was
That
our
is not a free
representative for the
cost.
union back in the day? Who was representing us? Who was that guy? Because we needed somebody, right? And I
It was a guy
can't
from
remember.
Counter Strike.
I can't remember. What was his
It's
name?
probably Sir Scoots, right?
It was him.
Scoots?
Oh,
yeah.
Sir Scoots.
Sir Scoots did it.
Yeah,
in
whoever
Fortnite,
did the
Scoots did it in
Counter-Strike one.
CS, Yeah.
I felt
I
like
remember we had everyone get in an email chain. We went through the
I
whole
remember that
process.
because I signed it and I remember the whole process and everything like that. Yeah, you guys are right. It was Sir Scoots. It was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't remember who the fuck it
Yeah,
was.
Scoots has been instrumental in the CS Players Association. He also did the Fortnite one, although I don't think the Fortnite one has gone anywhere. Those kids are all 12, but I think that's a huge missed
That's another
opportunity.
issue.
Yeah, huge missed opportunity. But anyway, getting back to COD, I think that's just the biggest missed opportunity. Y'all could have collectively bargained a lot more upside in the CDL agreement, and some of y'all got fucked. And it's outlined in this, bro. Seth was forced to sign that document, and you know what happened? He did a Raid Shadow Legends stream in the middle of the fucking offseason before the new game came out. It was in fucking October, and he got a letter from Activision disciplining him for doing that stream in the fucking offseason. Like, and this is like, Pat, I brought this up in the stream earlier. Do you remember the LCS controversy with Hearthstone in like 2014 when LCS players got in trouble because they were in between queues playing fucking pubs? They were playing Hearthstone on stream and fucking Riot got mad at them. And there was a huge shitstorm.
You can't blame him. Hearthstone was a blast when it came out.
Yeah, it was a fucking banger. And there was a huge shitstorm and Riot eventually walked it back. That was like 5 years prior to this. And I can't believe Activision fucking tried it again.
You were
I
a
mean,
Hearthstone
obviously-
guy, Pat?
Oh yeah, I hit Legend multiple seasons.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I never knew
banger
anything
game.
about it. My
Me-
girlfriend won a tournament once and won
Wasn't
a
it like
PC.
you and John, Pat? You gotta love
Me,
that shit.
Pac-Man, Nagafin. Who else played?
I think Austin played it.
That's sick.
Austin. That was a crew. Yeah.
Damn, I've never played that game.
Hearthstone's a great game. It's a
Bro,
great
that's
game.
just like
It's
to your
different
point.
now. I
That's
haven't
just
played in
fucking
years.
malicious, though, bro. Like, there's just been so much like
Maybe play Marvel Snap now.
unnecessary, over the top, malicious like business practice that just makes just no basis. It makes no sense.
I
Because
just
what
want
they-
COD
what
to
they
go
did,
back to
Sam,
what
is-
it was, man. Just those open formats, those pool plays. I mean, I feel like with the CDL dying, that's where we're heading. At least that's where I think we're heading.
I think we're going
There's
to
going to be a
head
very
to-
weird bridge period between the CDL dying and us getting to that format. There's going to be a very weird,
Yeah.
like, gray area that is going to have a lot of uncertainty in it.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I
we'll-
also
we'll be
think in
interesting-
Ben's
Yeah.
dreaming scenario of the Saudi government bailing out esports for Call of Duty, I think there'd be even if
That's
in
not
this
what I said.
situation to
Okay.
happen, I think there's going to be a long drawn out period before that even comes to
Maybe the dark
anything of
days.
fruition. Yeah,
I don't think so. I think the minute
but
that-
luckily, Sam.
Oh, here we go.
I
Next to
think
find a plug.
there is other titles for people to be involved with, and
Coming in
I-
summer of
hey,
2029.
Here we go.
I think
Here
it's
he
time
goes.
for that transition.
There he
I
fucking
think,
goes.
look, I think, listen, the minute the CDL is done, ESL is going to step in instantly and spin it up. I think it's going to be probably some kind of open scene. And I think, like I said, it's going to culminate in probably fucking champs every year being in Saudi Arabia because that's what the PIF is going to want as part of getting involved with the commercialization of this. I don't think it's a fucking bailout. I think they're going to try and commercialize it, and the PIF will pump some money.
But what esport have they done this with so far though?
Oh, bro, listen.
Other than Counter-Strike, I've seen.
League.
If you've been following,
they're starting the process with Rocket League. I
Every
believe.
publisher, every TO, every major piece of the esports industry went to a B2B conference in Saudi Arabia like 8 or 9 months ago. Like
No, I know. I'm saying what has actually happened though. Like not what are just the ideas. What has actually happened?
They haven't announced all the things that are going to be at the Esports World Cup this summer, but it's going to be. The rumor is going to be fucking everybody, every publisher.
I mean, there's supposed to be COD. There's supposed to be COD events at that.
Yeah, no. There's already people qualifying on the StarCraft side. I think. Obviously, there's going to be a CS thing. It's going to be a lot of shit, bro. Like I think it's going to be very interesting to see what the Saudi government does with the Esports World Cup, but they want to get heavy into esports, bro. That is part of their plan to diversify their investment. I don't want to talk about the validity and there's a whole lot we can go on that front, but they are going to get in the mix. Saying it's not going to happen, like the writing's on the wall on that one, bro.
Anything else you guys have to say on the lawsuit that's going on? Not sure how long this lawsuit can go on for a pretty long time.
I think I have a couple more things, Tom.
Go ahead.
One is one key thing that I think is interesting.
I'm
looking right now.
The 11 teams are named as co-conspirators. Subsequently, I think some of the team owners will probably not be super happy that they will be potentially deposed in this lawsuit. But that's interesting. I think the other thing.
Question, Ben. Do you think
one more thing because it's important? They're tied to each other. Real quick. The other interesting thing, and I actually don't know this, so if any lawyers in the chat, let us know. I would assume that if Activision settles with Seth and Hector, this opens the door to other teams subsequently like filing suits trying to get additional money. So
well, that's my point. Is do you think they were consulted first, and if so, what do you think their reaction was?
The other team owners?
Yeah, because I imagine they had to have. Like,
I'm sure the idea was floated.
I don't know, and that maybe gets very dangerous in a countersuit. I don't know how that would work. That maybe kind of fucks over your case if you're.
I feel like they had to have known beforehand, though. There's no way that X just went like.
The issue, though, like.
Yeah, but if you're not in a JDA, like I think that becomes within potential like discovery. I think that actually fucks over your case unless you're in a joint defense.
Other teams have they do, like, there's been, like I said, malicious business practices, and Activision's been fucking terrible. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like reading the suit, like, Hector has a legitimate claim to, like, a lot of the shit that went down. Like, if the things that happened that Hector laid out in this suit happened, like, there is basis for litigation here. But, like, I don't think, like, when you go to each team, there's going to be a set example for, like, everyone to follow in that way. Like, I don't think Activision wronged to the level of Hector all other 11 teams.
What do you think Envy's position is on this, though?
That's a great question.
Like Hex is acting, Hex is acting on behalf of himself. Same with Seth.
Yeah.
And obviously Envy owns 92.5% of Optic. Like,
yeah.
What do you think their position is on this whole situation? Like Hex is currently, to my knowledge, acting CEO, right? But I mean, we've seen situations like that change very fast.
I think it's interesting, and I probably don't think we'll ever find out. I think what's interesting is, look, I think that there are some valid claims here from Scup and Hector. I think in particular, Scump's claims to me are actually probably some of the best in this, because I think as a player, during his standing, I think you can make the case that he wasn't able to get a fair market wage due to the salary cap structure. He wasn't able to get fair compensation because they limited upside and getting sponsors and brands. And he's a big
amount
guy.
of categories.
Pulled in a lot of money.
But the salary cap stuff went away, though. No, the salary stuff went away.
But here's a problem, guys. That was explained to me. The issue in what this comes down to in a case like this is how the judge defines what a market is, right? And in the case, they've defined a market as competitive Call of Duty. The judge may not see that as a valid market, on top of the fact that they may see that, listen, Activision, this is a weird one because Activision owns the rights to Call of Duty, and they have an ability as a copyright holder to enforce their IP, and that gives them certain rights that are not necessarily anti-monopoly or an illegal monopoly. So it's a very interesting case. I would love to see this litigated because it's massive potentially for the industry. Huge.
Okay, well, I'm talking to Seth. He sent me some screenshots. I just want to make sure that I'm okay to show him before. Yeah, he sent me a conversation between him and Porter, which is hilarious. I read
Jesus
something.
Christ.
Porter.
Here we fucking go.
Wait, what's the date on this? What's the date
The
on
date
this?
on this is November 15th, 2020. That's the date on this. That's the date on these messages.
Okay, never mind.
15,
I was thinking like pre-CDO.
I'm just
So this
screen.
is
I don't
like-
want to show up.
This is
Screenshot
like
it.
right before Cold War season starts, right?
Yes, this is the very end of.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's take a
Modern
look
19.
here. Let's take a look here. So this is
Are
Seth.
you
They're
good to
flank
show these? You
exclusive
confirm with
right
him you're
there.
good to show them?
What?
You're good to show them, right?
I mean, yeah, he said, I said, what did I say? Here, I could tell you what he said. First of all, Pat, go fuck yourself.
read this.
Pretty much what he said. He goes, I mean, yeah, just, you know what I mean? I was like, do you want me to show these? I said, do you want me to show these? And he goes, I mean, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's basically, he was basically referring to, yeah. I mean, he sent them to me.
Can I ask
so.
a fair question about
Wait,
these?
but is he
Real quick.
referencing the first time being pre-CDL? Like
Well, there's
Yeah, I'm looking
there's
at
two of them. There's two of them. So Seth said, where do I sign the
'cause this
petition?
is 2020.
Crimson
Yeah,
said it's too
This
late.
was a year after the CDL.
Right, let's just read
So
it.
what-
Crimson said, where do I sign a petition? Or Seth said, where do I sign the petition? Crimson said, it's too late for that petition now, but lawyers are drafting stuff up now for a union. And then Seth said, yeah, Clay told me that they want to get it done sometime next March. It was brought up to me one time. I said no the first time because it felt like all the pros hated me and I was kind of just being a dickhead about it. And I had very little information on it. And then there was another screenshot. Porter said that one-page document was it. 2 paragraphs, wasn't anything legal, just a petition message to the league saying you can't make changes like this without consulting us. Scraps even learned how to read and signed it.
That's the most impressive part.
And it says to let myself, I do want to apologize though. I was being stubborn. I also said that if I needed to sign, I would, but then it was never brought up to me again. So
I mean, this was after my time, so I don't know because this is the second time. I was already retired by now.
This is nice to see that Seth was willing to get in on this. The problem is this is about 4 years too late.
Yeah.
The union and the everybody needed to organize in 2017, 2018 in order to collectively bargain a CBA the minute the league started. Coming in the middle, and this is at peak, like Activision was going under some other union busting shit at this time. This is like before that QA thing. Like there's a lot of shit going down with that. Like they would have had a tough time actually getting a CBA done, and it would have cost them a lot of money to litigate that with Activision. Their best chances before the league started, they missed it by a couple of years.
It wasn't the best chance. It was the only chance.
Yeah.
well,
Otherwise, it would have been really, really tough.
to sum it up, whose team are you
Inexpensive.
on? I'm on Team Scump and Hector. Whose team
I
are
got
you
my
guys
Optic
on?
camo on in game, baby.
I'm
Sam's
on-
rocking
I'm
the
on-
Optic
I
camo.
I got the
I-
Optic
I'm on
camo.
team-
I stand with my king.
Yeah, I'm banging the drums, Greenwall, because I would
I
love
think
to
we're
see
all in
Sa-
support of Seth and
I mean,
Hector right now.
I would hope this happens. I just think the
Yeah.
reality is this is
Yeah.
getting dismissed.
I
but
hope it happens as
I
well.
hope it goes to discovery.
precedent
I
set
hope
would be
a lot.
unbelievable
I
for
hope a
esports.
lot gets uncovered. I'm very
just-
interested to see some of these internal documents to be
I
made
just hope
public.
that this lawsuit just changes the esports and Call of Duty scene for
Yeah,
the better,
the-
bro. Because
the landscape
I
of
don't. I, whoa,
shit
I,
that-
esports
I mean,
can be
I don't.
it'll
I
change
don't. I
fucking
don't.
video
I
game
don't
licensing
think
too.
it's
It may
gonna
not
change
even
for the
just be-
better
You get
though.
what- you get
Bro,
what I'm
this
saying,
case,
man.
this case
It's
could
fucking-
have, depending on how this case were to end up with a narrow judgment or wide judgment, this case has potential ramifications for game licensing, even beyond esports. Like this is huge in the way that intellectual property in the video game space is recognized in regards to interstate commerce and trade. Like
I'm just praying
is
that
super
every single.
interesting.
I'm just praying that Activision doesn't go full Nintendo, bro. Do you know like how bad Nintendo is with like all their like license, like
they're
like,
not they're not going to, bro. And
Yeah,
and,
you get the point though.
And,
I'm
to be
like,
clear, like there's a claim in, for example, Edge Things, right? They claim in this lawsuit that Activision and their anti-monopoly stance, having a 100% monopoly, denied giving game and tournament licenses to other people other than the MLG assets they bought in 2016. That's not necessarily true because UMG ran events after that date, Gfinity ran events after that date, LVP ran events after the date. They licensed.
Wait.
competition in
Did they?
Japan. Yes, 2016.
UMG did not run events after that.
ESL did too.
Not after that.
Oh,
2017 was the start of strictly CWL.
UMG Chris in the parking lot.
That was .w, right?
Oh, God.
2017
Yeah.
was .w.
Yeah, there
Oh,
was
man.
there was
2016. End of
Wow.
2016 would be.
yeah. Into
Forward
2016
to-
was the
What a
end of
piece of
BO3
shit.
when the
No,
buyout
but
happened.
but so you still had World Gaming. You had World Gaming going on. That was a licensed event. You
The
had
fuck is World
you had
Gaming?
the Montreal
That was the
event.
Montreal
also
shit that I
non-FC.
won. Thank you.
Yeah, Like,
The
and you
fuck are
had
these? What are
LVP
we, these
going
local
on.
lands? We're talking about local lands.
Yeah, but they
Like,
were granted these stuff were still granted game licenses. To say they
yeah.
were
So is
granted game
NJ
licenses is not
Halo,
true.
bro.
Wrap it
I
up.
got
I don't
banned
think
from
NJ
those.
Halo
Pat, you know, I
was.
got banned from NJ Halo. The guy looked at me.
What'd you do? What'd you do?
I won 8 of them in a row, and then he looked at me, handed me $500
Jesus.
in cash, and he said, "Don't ever come back here. I'm losing business."
I love that story.
I said, "Buddy,
bro.
no problem.
That's such a
See
good
you
story.
later." And I left.
Yeah,
No problem.
That was the start of all the locals like gatekeeping pros because all the pros would just show
Hey,
up and
banned
just
me. He
run
literally
it.
looked me in the eyes and said, "Don't come back. Nobody's
Here's
signing up."
my-
Bro, speaking of that 2016 year though, that was probably the worst year for the esport as a whole. Ignoring the game, that format was so awful.
What the leagues in
the,
3
the
regions, and,
online
like, 3
leagues,
events?
the 2
Yeah.
events, and then like 2 MLG events at the end. Like that
Well,
was
the problem is they
that was
had a
the
huge
worst.
production issue, bro. Because you pulled the UMG South Carolina, and it became abundantly clear to everyone the Bluetooth and the PlayStation console is gonna be a huge fucking problem. And that's how Cronus started to get
Won that
involved
one
because-
too.
Let's go, Sam. You're
Maybe
different.
tucked in fucking Nicky D. But anyway, you know, that was a bad year for comp, and obviously got a little bit better after that. I'm curious. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm curious to see now if this case becoming public and docketed is going to speed up public leaks and sort of how this whole CDL plan is going to get landed with the unwinding, because there's a very intricate song and dance here between how that will get unwinded and how this lawsuit may get settled, so there's no other people asking for more money. And at the end of the day, Activision Microsoft is probably on some total of this gonna write a 9-figure fucking check when it's all said and done to multiple parties.
9-figure?
Yeah,
9.
but you got to think, right?
How do you figure 9? No way.
9 is settlement to Scump and Hector, maybe to some other people, plus
Dismissed.
plus buying
They're,
people
they're
out
gonna
of
pay.
their
They're gonna pay the
fucking
buyouts of
agreements.
all the CDL contracts. Which, if we
12
go off
team-
what
12 teams
Overwatch
and it's
got,
10 million. It's already 9.
yeah, you think they're good? You think they'll get that much?
And
Think
a decent
about it.
amount, yeah.
Most-
Overwatch League cost them a bit to
Maybe.
unwind, right?
Yeah,
Close to like 100 mil.
6 million a team, but the Overwatch teams actually paid their spots for way longer. The COD
Did
stuff
they?
has been delayed.
How long did they pay for their spots for, Pat?
Overwatch franchised in 16, 27.
couple of years.
Yeah, like they did like 4 years the whole league,
It was
and
2018, right?
and the
think it was 2 or
Overwatch
3
spots were even more expensive. The people were paying way more for the Overwatch spots. Those were like going, bro. Do you guys not remember, bro? Some of those biddings were like in
How
the
much were the
30s
Overwatch
or
spots?
40s million dollar for
Holy
the cities.
fuck.
You guys not remember
I don't
that?
remember. No,
I don't remember that now.
Bro, when they were talking
That's
about
crazy.
the bidding for those specific cities, it was going way up, especially in the expansion years. It was definitely a lot more. COD came in at
I
like
think it
that
was
$25 million
I think the
baseline.
initial, I think you might actually be confusing, Pat. I think the initial spots were 20 million, and then
No, the expansion spots, they were way more.
the expansion spots were higher theoretically somewhere. And I see an article: franchise fee for expansion teams are expected to be higher than the inaugural season, estimated between, this number is mind blowing, by the way, 35 to 60 million. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think, though,
it was a
Fucking
lot.
what?
I
And,
don't
and
know.
bro, and they had like 30 teams.
I don't.
Yeah, they had
it
a lot
doesn't
of
say
teams.
though in these articles for Atlanta Reign, Guangzhou, the other Chinese teams, Toronto, Paris, Washington, Vancouver, what they actually paid to get in. So I'm curious if that will come out eventually. We don't know if it ended up being 20 million or 60 million or whatever.
You know,
But
you
that
know
was fucking insane though.
The Guangdong
Insane.
Tigers.
the real losers for this though are the teams who bought in both.
Yeah.
Like,
Fool me once, bro.
Anything else, guys? Anything else you want to say? Anything at all? Leave your
I have-
peace.
I have one more thing.
I'm
which
sure you
is,
do. Go ahead, Ben.
I think I
Ben.
really
Ben's
wanted.
been waiting for this.
There's a PSA to the
Lawyer
community,
Ben,
bro. PSA to the community. Get off of Scum and Hector's back to fucking talk about this shit. They got lawyers in the ear saying not to say a fucking word. And like, I
Are
see
people on their
tweeting at them.
ass about talking
Bro,
about it?
yes, I see it on social media. I see it on Reddit. They need to
What?
fucking clap back
Well,
on the
those
statement
people
from
are just
Activision.
dumb as rocks.
Ben,
They need to let the lawsuit play out. And
Ben, you're
there's no
talking to
point.
16-year-olds to,
I know, but I'm trying to
have
fucking give
some
a PSA,
sense, bro.
Get off their fucking Johnson, dude. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Anyone-
being advised by
anyone
lawyers to
who
be very
even-
careful here.
Anyone
say
who even
anything.
thought that they would even give a facial reaction to a sentence about this situation is delusional.
I'm just trying to do a PSA, bro. Like I don't know what to
Sure.
say. And it goes the other way too. All the dumbasses on fucking Reddit and Scump's gonna stop streaming, Optic's gonna get banned from events. Activision's not gonna retaliate against them. They put out a statement that's gonna be the fucking end of it. Like retaliation only adds more fucking cause of action to this lawsuit. So They're not going to fucking do that either. So everybody wise up here.
All right, let's go take a look. I want to take a look at this one time. Now, this has nothing to do with COD, but it kind of does at the same time. Have you guys seen this text to AI shit? Have y'all seen
bro.
This shit?
I
Is
saw
scary
a video
as
of golden
fuck.
retriever puppies playing in the snow.
Yeah,
and I lost my
yeah.
mind.
Even this is AI. Look at the prompt.
Yeah.
Beautiful snowy Tokyo City is bustling. The camera moves through the bustling city street, following several people enjoying the beautiful snowy weather and shopping at nearby stalls. Bro, this is what the AI made. Like, this is insane. Like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, we're fucked.
We're fucked. And the reason why I'm bringing it up on the show, it has nothing to do with COD, but I do think this is going to change content creation and just create content in general, in the entertainment industry in general. Like, this is insane. This is crazy.
Yeah, there's gonna be way more of those VTubers or whatever they're called.
People are saying 240p and AI images aren't as good. This tech is going to get better, bro. The way that
Yeah,
this
I mean,
tech is
240p for now.
improved in 6 months, let alone a fucking year, is insane. And look, there are because there's like, you see there's a little bit of like some issues with it. Obviously, these models are trained on real artists, so there's a big copyright issue that at some point I think will get litigated as to the rights on this shit. But man, this stuff's fucking
Bro,
scary.
at
'cause
some
the
point-
deepfakes
I
you
just
can
don't
do
understand
are
how this shit works,
insane,
bro.
Put this in perspective.
they
At
do
some
this?
point, somebody could write an entire like a movie. Like what is the text like that like the what is the what I'm talking
Siri?
about?
A script?
A script, yeah. Jesus Christ! Listen, I had a brain fart. So
Script? Are we
they could
tweaking?
write an entire screenplay, a script. Screenplay, that's the word. They could write an entire screenplay, a script, and stuff like that. And imagine it just like makes the video.
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
crazy.
the movie for you. Like
Oh,
how
yeah.
insane that would be.
ZooMaa goes on main stage, sets up the lights in his eyes.
I was gonna
exactly,
say,
that's
can
what
I
I'm
put out
saying.
ZooMaa wins his ring finally, and he's on stage, hundreds of thousands of people, and it just I'm just on stage at COD champs.
Yeah,
like,
you
how does
try
it do
and-
that?
You
How
get
does
a
it do
deep
that?
fake ring, Tom.
That's crazy, bro. That would be
You get a
insane. That would be
deepfake ring.
insane, bro.
What?
You could
can
write an
create your
entire
own model
script.
So I can finally get it? I can finally get the ring? Yeah, I
Yeah,
might
if
need
you
the
want
fun.
to.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. And also the Apple Vision Pro shit, that shit's crazy too. Even though I don't know how people aren't getting motion sick from that shit. I'm sure people probably are actually. I don't even
Listen,
know.
bro, we are entering the era of the mega brain rot.
Yeah, this is
Mega brain
brain
rot, I
rot.
love that.
I'm worried
I love
about the
that.
kids, man. Like if they're fucking just locked into this shit. Like imagine growing up, imagine 10 years from now, 20 years from now, kids might just be like fucking, I don't know, fucking learning school through these fucking glasses
I mean,
or some
bro,
shit. Like who fucking knows?
I love technology, don't get me wrong, but I was watching a TikTok the other day about the early 2000s and how much playing outside occurred as a kid.
Our generation's the last one, bro.
Bro, yeah, it's the last
90s
one. And I'm
babies.
sure,
The
hey,
90s
and
babies were built
Sam,
different, bro.
I
Last
would
one, bro.
I would even say that there are people probably in this chat that never even experienced that. Like
No. People
it-
get
it-
phones in
it's-
fucking 4th grade. I didn't touch that shit
It's
till
crazy
I didn't
to
touch a
think
phone until
about.
like 5th grade, 4th grade or something.
yeah, bro.
It's nuts, bro. And the early not the 90s babies, I don't know. I just felt like we were always outside and shit, always playing. I feel like it's just not like that anymore. Like, I mean, at least I was. I can't really speak for you guys.
No,
but,
yeah, it's
like growing up, there was
2000s
nothing to
motherfuckers
do.
there,
Like
man.
that's what we did. We went outside and ran around and did shit, rode bikes, fucking I don't know, fucking
2000 and there's more.
went paintball and shit.
and everyone was way more social too. When you think about
so
it.
it's just like I just feel like a lot's changing, bro. A lot's changing, and it's
Bro,
changing
we're-
faster than I thought.
Bro, did you talk about the AI stuff, bro? Where AI images was 18 months ago to where it is now, the fact we have AI fucking video, bro, the progress is happening so quick with OpenAI. It's fucking absolutely crazy. I can't even believe where it's going to be in 6 months from now. Like,
Yeah,
it's obviously there are intellectual property. Someone eventually is going to have a case to go to the Supreme Court about the intellectual property issues here because these models are trained on actual art and artists, and they're seeing zero revenue if people actually use this to make money. So eventually, I'm sure that'll get litigated. But shit's crazy, bro. Shit's fucking
One
crazy.
lawsuit at a time, Benjay.
yeah. I mean, it will get to a certain point where it happened with the Taylor Swift shit, where the AI generated pictures were going out and shit like that. She talked about how they're way too realistic, and she's gonna start suing and this and that. And way more
The
people.
what?
There was
The Taylor
pictures like
Swift
AI.
deepfake came out.
Like deep fake and shit, which is just like terrible, bro. Like that type of shit shouldn't be happening. And like I agree, like there needs to be legal action with certain shit like that. Because people can just make fake shit and make it look real. And people, there's gonna be a day and age
Bro.
where you just won't be able to tell what's real and what's fake
Just
anymore.
wait for this presidential election. I guarantee there's gonna be some deep fakes during this presidential election that's gonna blow your fucking mind. It's gonna happen this year,
The
bro.
presidential
We're here.
election will get especially
We're
within
fucking here,
politics,
bro.
within politics and shit. That's gonna get scary
It's
as well.
fucking dangerous fucking tool in that shit. You
But-
can't be trusted by those people.
But listen, I think that's going to do it for us today on the show. I hope you guys all enjoyed the fling today. Obviously, we only had a couple matches, but we had a lot to talk about. And, of course, we got 3 more matches tomorrow, so we're ready to lock in and watch those. So we'll obviously be back tomorrow. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflank. Check out all the audio sites we're on. Go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. And go to ZOOMAA.gg. Go plug in your email. That's where all the merch is going to be moving forward. We got a merch drop coming soon. So go check out ZOOMAA.gg.
Wait. Could we make a deep fake flank episode?
Yeah, we could.
I was,
so.
bro,
I think you
Think
guys
they'd
get
know?
along on that
You
one.
think they'd know?
It should be crazy.
Ben,
think you
put
guys
us
get
out,
along on
Ben.
that
Put
one.
us out. There's a
Sure.
poll. You
Gotcha,
got to put us
gotcha.
out real quick. Yo, a deep fake flank episode would be insane. Like, yo, recap the all the matches today with Ben. Fucking just write it
my
out.
fucking feet are just in the air and shit. Like I'm just cooling it.
Like, bro, that's just like insane, bro. Like the fact
Yeah,
that
but I think there'd be a dead giveaway though, Tom. Because at the end, when Ben puts us out, he'd be making all of them, and everyone know that'd be
shit.
bullshit.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's facts. That's facts. There's no way that would be real. Look at him now. Benjamin Asim steps up to the plate. He's got golf club in hand. Dogs are out. No slippers today. He's gonna get right into it. Gonna let it strike, and it's too short. Oh,
See, that's reality, folks.
That's reality.
That's reality.
there's reality.
That's how you know.
Ladies and gents, clip it. Make sure we
Authentic
never
flank
lose this.
episode right
Make sure
here.
we never lose this clip because you never know what could happen 10 years from now. Oh, he's
It's an
going for
authentic
round
flank
2. He's
episode.
going to run for round 2. Look, and there he goes. He sinks it, but it's too late. Everybody lost their
That
points.
was so. I cannot believe that didn't go in. That was like literally on edge, bro.
Well, folks, Ben J cost you all your points. Hope you enjoyed the show today, and we'll see
It's
you
all right.
guys.